would definitely have a word with Jaggu at the other end, as they say. Jagrup Rana.
I like the aggression, I like the intensity, looking to rotate the strike and just keep the score ticking. But again, got to be a little bit sensible. So I think Adam's going to bring that side to this partnership.
Yeah, you get experience at one end, you get exuberance at the other. As far as Jagrup Rana is concerned, he's looking to cut the ball more on this kind of a track. Do you think he'd be better served if he starts to target straight down the ground?
He does have a very good straight shot, and I think, especially because the straight boundary is quite small, it would make sense for him to target this side. But it depends on the length that Nawaz bowls. He's a kind of hit the deck bowler, and so we might see Jagrup play those late cuts, look to go a little square behind the wicket.
Our colleague Sheel quietly slips up a stat. Adams coming afresh after a scintillating 177 last week. 177. That's in the air, will be gone. It's getting too easy for number 77, Nawaz. It's a planned wicket.
Another quick wicket falls, and now we're seeing the pressure start to build up on the Thunderbolts. We've got to see a solid partnership here between Adam and I believe it's Shadley come in. There we go. All right, Shadley is one of the leaders of the side. He's going to be a rock in the middle, and I think we have good faith in Shadley to take things through.
Just what the doctor ordered. For the East Bay Blazers, they wanted 2 new men at the crease. Jagrup Rana was not featuring in their plans to go ahead. There you go.
But I think continuing this lefty-righty partnership is going to look good for the Thunderbolts. Put a bit of pressure on the bowlers.
Do you think he launched a little early into the shot? He had waited a little more, or was it the fact that the ball grew on him at the last moment? Nawaz provided some venom.
I think it was the bit of extra bounce from Nawaz. He's got that very high release position, good bounce off the deck. But I think he could have waited a bit just after a quick wicket fell. But again, you don't want him to play outside his comfort zone. If that was the shot that he wanted to play, then it's good that he followed through with it. Unfortunately, the outcome wasn't the best for the Thunderbolts.
If you ask the Seattle Thunderbolt management, well, Thunderbolts are suddenly losing wickets. Who are the 2 men that you would trust to be out there? They'll name these 2.
Yeah, I mean, Adam is a very solid addition to the team this year, and he definitely adds a lot of depth to the batting department. And, we've seen Shadley very consistent last year, some great performances, and now just looking to carry that momentum forward. And, they've been on fire the last couple of weeks in the local league, so they should be exciting to watch. Now, one of the challenges that I've seen that a lot of foreign bowlers have when they come to Astro is that they've lost this sort of grip and turn on the wicket because, there's not much in it for the spinners. So
never sign up for it, do you?
So what we have to see here is really the ability to adapt. I mean, I've seen guys like Harry and Ducky, they've adapted brilliantly. They've developed new variations, just really looking to make the most of the Astro and the bounce that they get. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes advantage of the Astro given to him here.
It's a slight adjustment that he needs to make, and something that he's been practicing for a while with. Good delivery.
Good start, well played.
It's important that you get it right when you're bowling to a new man, isn't it? You want to keep him on his toes all the time. Do not give him that first run. Once a straight along on.
That is a brilliant shot to get off the mark. And will that make it to the boundary? Ooh, it's a bit tight, Kalahani grass, again, providing enough resistance to just stop the ball right before the boundary, but a good couple of runs.
Yeah, the outfield is a 12th fielder at the moment.
But yeah, brilliant shot by Adam to get off the mark.
Just get a feeling, because it was his first run as well, he deliberately hit it down the ground. Somewhere set, he receives the same ball about 9 deliveries later, he would have gone over the top.
Yeah, it looks like he's just holding back a little bit there. I think that one he would straight behind the bowler's head. But you know what? Sensible of Adam. I think that's where that cricketing IQ and that maturity comes in.
Oh, it moved across, not making himself a candidate for LBW. Just allows him to free his arms. Was looking for the gap though, finds a fielder.
Good intent though, looking to rotate the strike and just move the ball around. Again on the ground though, so very sensible shot by Adam.
Adam at the moment is enjoying the dance in the middle. That stance he takes initially holds no value whatsoever by the time he meets the ball.
Good change up there by the bowler. The intent was right, but the execution was just a little bit off. But again, I see what he's doing there, looking to add some pace and pull it in a little bit flatter.
Did you try and think that Adam will dance down the track there to access the gaps better? Slowed it down.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot.
That'll travel the distance too. Over the mid-wicket fence. Adam fetches it from outside off and almost was believing that he can get the power behind it despite it being a slower delivery. The slower delivery can be a two-edged sword, especially for someone of Adam's stature. He has that extra bit of reach.
I think the bowler is trying the right things, trying to tempt the batsman to come down the wicket, play in the air, especially in his first couple of deliveries. But that experience, that's always going to be put away.
Inside out.
Oh, great bit of fielding there to stop that. Great bit of fielding there. I believe that was Rusty with the stop in the covers. Great athleticism.
What's the score? This is to refresh. I'm getting the score. This is who?
From Jit. And batsman.
Huge fan.
I'm in the Thunderbolts.
It's in a bag. It's the name.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Huge
Man.
fan.
Good to see you
Shade,
playing.
okay? See it,
So,
okay?
I need one. I for this microphone to come down. That's what you need to do in the comment box. And then you start speaking, and when you put it down, that's when I start. We'll never overlap that there. Okay. And I'll ask you leading questions with I want you. The left pick up another wicket. Slight issue with the side screen. It's the young fans who trot in front of it. Nawaz is going to reload.
Can't really blame him. That's the best seat in the house, to be honest.
Excellent delivery. Oh, it's a peach for especially someone who's facing his first.
Brilliant length right there. That's the kind of length that Nawaz looks to hit. And one of those odd balls, he gets that extra bounce, really just nips off the wicket. But yeah, great bowling here.
As KD customer, we've talked about the resistance that this surface provides as well. As soon as you land as a fast bowler, he seems to be coping really well. Slight change in the field now. Longon's getting straighter. He's expecting Shadley to use the straight part of the bat to show him the maker's name. Do you think that'll happen though, Anirudh?
Ooh, well bowled. With that length, probably not. I think Nawaz has done a great job of combating this short side here. Really looking to hit that hard length. And especially the lines to Shadley, just kind of moving away from him, pulling a little bit across him. Yeah, I think the challenge will now be to bowl to Adam.
Yeah, one is getting out of the shell, the other is already discarding the shell. That shot that he fetched from outside off to put over the boundary rope on the mid-wicket region was a statement sent to the opposition. For Adam, however, the third man is slightly straighter. It's finer before this, squarer rather. A nice clear call there, wait on. The importance of calling, especially when Klahani is a fielder for the opposition. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it difficult to kind of rotate the strike through the middle overs especially. And so it's really important to have effective communication, especially calling clearly. As you saw earlier, the run out was caused by that miscommunication, just getting a bit mixed up in the middle. So as long as they have strong plans to keep rotating the strike and they know how to call, then should be looking at it. Ooh, beautiful delivery there. Good change up, just a bit of change in pace.
Nawaz is one of those few bowlers that we've seen is already targeting the shoulder of the bat. He's posed some questions which have gone unanswered. He's adjusting to the righty-lefty combination as well, really well.
Yeah, Nawaz brings in a great bit of experience. Last year he was one of their best wicket takers. And on turf, he does get a bit of extra pace with that extra force to the crease. Ooh, well played, well played. Again, Adam, I think just deciding whether or not to go over the fielder or look to play on the ground again. But sensible shot by Adam again.
Gets into good positions to allow himself to free his arm at the last moment. Almost get a feeling that he has 2 shots to every ball. He can play it down the ground because the situation demands. So the scorecard can sometimes give you a pat on the back and ask you, hang on, do you really want to go inside out? And the second shot to the same ball is over the top. You can see that curtail in that flourish. Deliberate curtail, not to hit it over the top.
He's definitely seeing the ball well. I mean, it's coming off the middle. It sounds great. Shot's looking great as well. Yeah, I think just keeping his head down and keep the score ticking before he starts to look to take the aerial route.
They will change it now. 56 for 3 after 7 hours.
7 was gone, 56 for 3. It's been quite a recovery from Seattle Thunderbolts. One of them holding the ship at the moment is the experienced Adam. Shadley is someone who's extremely capable, but it's yet to find the middle of the bat more often. Spinner has been introduced once again for Shadley, who was searching for the middle of the bat with the pace. Do you think it's a blessing in disguise, or would Shadley feel a little urge to go for the big shot as well to get going, and hence a spinner can be a better option? Angelo Pereira.
Well, as we've seen, the field is kind of spread back a little bit, so they might be looking for some quick singles here. I think, within the 15-yard circle, I think they're looking to maybe just rotate the strike. There we go, quick single again.
Gentle tap, that'll do. That'll calm the nerves of many in the dugout in pink. Yeah, Adams decided to marshal with own drum beats. I won't be surprised if he goes for the big shot. It's got now the fielder has been posted at deep mid wicket. Adams' progress straight down the ground can be tested.
Brilliant shot again, just rotating the strike. And that really just takes the pressure off the batsman in the middle, as the dot balls kind of build up, that's when you start to see them play more rash shots, just looking to go over the top. But here, playing very sensibly, just rotating the strike. And so I think this is going to be a very key partnership for the Thunderbolts.
Catch was the call. Who was the question?
Definitely looked to be a bit of a bump ball, but would have been a great catch if he tried.
Not refreshing anymore. Any website.
So much better. This is an excellent over in the context. These were places they wanted some momentum. Here they have with Angelo Pereira getting it right from the word go.
Good call there in the end. Good quick single.
Adam did really well to start off a little late. Wanted to be the boulder in front of Angelo Pereira, not to get to the ball as quickly as possible. And Angelo Pereira doesn't mind giving away that single either. Now try and turn it away from the righty.
Yeah, Shadley just turning the ball towards the leg side and just kind of opening the field a bit. Very sensible batting.
Gentle tap will do the trick, yeah. Going on to 60, and Adam should.
That's doing good.
Now, what do you think the message is going to be that they've sent through the water boy here?
Yeah, those bottles are filled with messages more than water. That's because this game's about not all denominations that you can get in cricket. It's either single or you go for the big shot. And in the bargain, you can get the intention there. There's no half measures. When you go through with a shot, you go through with it completely. I think that would be the message to them. We've created the launch pad. Have the wickets in hand. Go for it. David Bunn. Again, a phenomenal cricketer, all-round talent. Does really well there. For Bas to eventually get around it. It's not easy to curtail something that ricochets. I think was helped by the other fielders as well to point him in the right direction. Otherwise, he was running the other way.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness, that is a massive shot there by Adam.
That was six the moment it left the bat. Yeah, Adam has a sense of irreverence to the boundary rope anyway. The ball just stood up and asked to be hit. Dunn knows that the margin of error is shrinking as far as Adam's concerned. Everything is hittable. You can't allow him to free his arms. He's a lovely swiveler of the ball.
Yeah, as you said, the margin of error just a fraction too short there, and again Adam got the best of that ball, and that is just flown deep into the woods. They might have to look for a replacement ball here.
So many times we see the water bottles at the edge of the boundary rope to help the fielders. You perhaps can also call for a trekking kit because that ball to be retrieved looks like it's going to be quite a trail. Much needed sip of water now.
Yeah, as you mentioned, just being able to keep wickets until the end is really going to make the difference, because then these two will really have the ability to just free their arms and go for it. As long as they have wickets in the last couple of overs, it really gives them the freedom to play their shots and not have to, kind of hold back and look to just keep rotating strike. At this point, and Adam's looking really solid. He's pretty set. As Shadley gets a bit more set in, I think we'll start to see some big shots towards the later half of the innings.
As far as White and Co are concerned, this is the time for them to pick up a wicket, and Adam would be the big fish. Just get a feeling that they've tried to be quicker to someone like Adam, and who's played most of his life in Australia, loves the quickness when it comes to the bat like that. Hence, just playing to his strength. Just moments away. So, Jello
over, and he really builds some pressure from that end. And so it's really up to David on this end to start to try to strike and take some wickets here. As Angie builds up pressure on the other end. Again, a very economical over, very sensible. And again, you could just tell he had a certain plan, just trying to tempt the batsmen, draw them out for big shots.
Exactly. What message does it send to someone like Adam, who can do this all day? Be thinking, if I can hit there or thereabouts, the next time don't just bring the bottle of water, bring me a pack of cards as well. We'll complete the game by the time the ball's retrieved.
Adam's getting a bit of a well-needed break now, and hopefully it's a bit more energy for some really big shots. You know what? I see at least another 2 or 3 balls coming over here, the long off, long on boundary. And I definitely see him clearing this boundary a couple of times the next maybe 2 to 3 overs.
That's interesting. It's an interesting point coming in again from Shield that this can be a break and disrupt in momentum as well for Adam. He could be raring to go, raring to face the next ball, but he's got to wait.
It's true. I think it also gives the bowler a moment to re-strategize and come up with a better plan. Another plan of attack to really try and bowl Adam. I think the last 2 balls that he bowled, we saw, weren't as effective. So maybe he's going to try something a little different. I think what Angie did, that left arm spin, just kind of bring a little bit wider, trying to get Adam to go inside out over the covers, try to pierce the field, and maybe just force the fall shot. I think that's a better plan of attack for him.
Induce the fall shot, that's easier said than done, isn't it? Again, to do that, you want to tangle the batter with the pace that you're bowling, or the lack of it. Dunn would have realized that it's just that margin of error once again. It sits up so nicely.
Yeah, that's the thing about bowling on Astro. It just comes onto the bat so nicely. There's no real variable bounce. You know exactly what to expect, and so it's that pace from the hand that really has to change. You can't really expect anything off the wicket, especially if you're trying to really get it to grip and turn. There's not that much assistance. So the way Angelo did it was quite brilliant, just really tossing it up a couple balls, and then those 2 that he just darted through, I think that was a brilliant change up there on his part.
You could see the mini cabinet meeting called by these blazers. All of them are discussing the shot selection that that Adam has to offer. He's been targeting the leg side quite often, isn't it? And those comparatively at the longer boundary rope. It's just hitting it with the wind and the ball travels. It anyways stays hit when Adam gets it from the middle of the bat. The fielder in the deep was out of the equation immediately because that flew.
To be honest, I don't think they're finding that ball today. That has been hit and hit hard. This reminds me of last season. I think Audrey's in our opening match on Klahani. About 8 different balls were sent into the boundary on that force side. We're looking at, yeah, fireworks boundaries last season were just a treat to watch. I mean, I think 8 different sixes on that side. Each time the ball had to be replaced. I think team management was not happy with that.
All right, Annie. If that's the case, then I think we'll invite Sheil as well. We know what we're doing on Monday morning. We're going for leather hunt.
Yeah, I think thankfully they've got some of the young academy boys here very excited to watch the fireworks, standing by the boundary. And bless the kids, they've got lots of energy. So it looks like they're going to be hiking through the woods today looking for all the lost balls.
Unbelievable. I think I just heard a kid saying Waldo is easier to find.
There we go. I think they've got it.
Or, to check carefully, might be of the last season.
Regardless, that ball is going to be damaged. I think Adam has put some real damage into that ball.
How many kids returned? Another question. They're camping out there. They're expecting more.
I think they're waiting, in case. But, yeah, probably a smart decision. Just keep a couple kids waiting there, waiting for balls. And
I'll tell you what, we had a lovely seat in the house to witness that as well. The ball just took off. That clear blue sky here in Klahani, Issaquah, Washington, provided such a wonderful backdrop for that piece of leather to fly away. One moment for the other moment a comet.
I think for the viewers that made the earlier part of the stream, I think when we're sitting up, they really getting shot by Andres again, straight towards the commentator's box. Brilliantly well. The power shots and just, it was a treat to watch.
Now the momentum question. Would it remain with Adam? Or would it work against him? With the spin or against the spin doesn't matter for someone of Adam's reach. He's just going right across as well. Outside off. How did Dunn respond here? Bun, I beg your pardon.
That ball looked to have just dipped a little bit and stayed quite low. But Adam, again, great shot. And you see when when a batsman's eyes kind of light up, they've hit 1-6 and they one of those guys with such a great number of years of experience and great cricketing IQ. So he knows to keep his head down, stay calm, and play the ball to its merit.
Yeah, Shadley is quite comfortable picking a single because he knows he can witness fireworks by doing so. It's been a good comeback from Bun. But still got to close it out really well. Would he play a little bit with his release point, go slightly wider perhaps? Now look at that single once again, even though he's hit it straight to the fielder. That's because he deliberately played it with soft hands.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that release point, just kind of playing with the angle. I think someone who really does that well, Marty Kane, with the Surf Riders last year, he has a very round arm action. And I think on Astro, it really seems to work. He gets the ball to cut a little bit, he gets a little bit of drift on it, and he really plays with that angle of release. But again, great way to close out the over there by David. Great recovery.
.68 now on the board. I did take a single as well, so 69 then. This partnership is progressing. Do you think they've got the launch pad required to go big here? The Seattle Thunderbolts. Our East Bay Blazers now with pace in the mix. will pick up the much needed wickets to stall the progress. All the base bowlers, the run-ups would be shortened.
Yeah, a bit of pressure on the new bowler coming in, especially as a medium pacer with the older ball. But he does have the added protection of the fielders on the boundary here. But with the ball not doing much and Adam and Shadley looking set, this should be a good contest.
Adam also, Shadley is yet to find the big shot. The world seems a better place when you get the first ball report, doesn't it? That first boundary, you're still waiting for it. Arnav Iyer is inheriting a scorecard which his team would be slightly proud of, but now the game's going away from them, needs to provide the breakthrough, can he? Starts off really well. It's not from the intended part of the bat, but a single nonetheless.
Again, good hard length there for the medium pacers. I think the Blazers have done great with that length. Not really giving them the room to free their arms, and besides the occasional bad ball, not too short, allowing them to really just free their arms and throw the bat at it.
All right, Anirudh, give us a number.
Let me see. Shadley's been looking good with the singles and doubles. Yeah. I think this should be. I'm gonna say he's gonna work it to the leg side for a single here.
At the end of 20, how many do you think they'll get now? Very good delivery. Didn't allow the batter to free his arms. And Shadley is as quick as he can get. Lovely footwork as well. Now with that one strike, we're believing in fireworks, not footwork.
Yeah, well done by the bowler to come into a difficult situation. I think he's adapted pretty well. At first he was kind of jumping around. You could see he's a little bit nervous, but now he's settling into it. His run-up looks to be in good rhythm, good momentum to the crease. Shot.
There's a sense of style and elegance when he plays that as well. The two kinds of singles, one when he just taps it around and looks at the partner if he's charging towards him and starts to run. The other one is filled and brimming with elegance and will eventually cause him only a single because it's not in the gap. Oh, this Kahani Park, I tell you. Such a treat to watch. Now this game's got so many dimensions to it. You play the surface, you play the outfield. A nice and clear call. The importance of nice and clear call, sometimes I believe it's underrated, isn't it?
It really is. Again, it makes a huge difference in these partnerships. Just the ability to be, I mean, they do have experience batting together. They've played a lot of preseason games, and so that gives them that ability to read off each other and understand, when they're looking for singles and when they're not. But again, that was a very good call. But now as the bowler, where do you think he's looking to bowl? I mean, they've really packed this offside, but as we've seen, Shadley really tries to play it and work it towards the leg side.
Very good question. I genuinely think he needs to change the angle of attack here so that he can try and target the off stump thereby. But he's quite content leaving it away from the left-hander. And Shadley in the bargain can just open the face of the bat and get runs. Or not play it at all and get runs. Oh, well kept. The keeper's doubling up for the slip coordinate now.
Again, like we said, he's just trying to target that offside. They've really packed it there, and he is trying to bowl to his field. But I think if you were to pull the length back a little bit, Shadley, he's not gone for any big shots. I think if you try to get him playing across, you could get him looking to maybe edge one. With this guy's pace and his bounce, I think it would be a good competition there.
Just outside the reach of the tall, lanky bowler. Arnav Iyer did reach his hand out, but it's one of those moments, just like back home. You try and jump for that little low-hanging mango. Just believe that it sticks.
Yeah, the length just a little bit full there, a tad bit full, but I think the line was correct on that delivery.
He's changing the pace very nicely. He's quietly doing that as well. He's not giving it away with his arm speed. His run-up virtually remains the same. What a delivery. I think there was a bit of premeditation when he's trying to open the face of the bat. But that ball was swinging slightly and at the stumps as well. Excellent delivery by the youngster, Arnav Iyer. A bowler who thinks on his feet. End of the over and some momentum for the Blazers.
Did a really great job there to cramp him up. I saw Adam kind of moving across, maybe to look, going over the covers there. But again, well bowled by Arnav. Great over to start with, coming into a difficult situation. So good on him. What's the score?
76.
76 after 10 overs. Changing voices here to take you through the next 10. I'm Suhas Vedam, joined by Sheel. Very warm welcome, Sheel.
Thank you, Suhas, and good afternoon, viewers. A lovely, lovely day out here in Klahani Park, Sakwa, as the first game of the second season for minor league cricket, the Pacific Conference begins. It's a fascinating time right now in this game. I see Shadley playing exactly the way Shadley plays. We saw it last season. He's got a great head on his shoulders, keeping himself in check. He's not one who's going to get sucked into any sort of invitations from the bowler. He's just keeping it in singles and letting Adam do the rest of it.
Oh, that's a good shot. That initial moment, every time he's done that, now he's just praying that the outfield does the rest. It does eventually. Sheel, it's difficult to bowl to someone like Adam when he's dancing around like that.
Precisely. A couple of balls in the last over. He tried to get out of the stumps to take it over the offside when the bowler was bowling intentionally on his legs. Almost gave the feeling that he's kind of itching to go, exactly what you just said. And this time he did the other way, going a little outside the off stump and sweeping it over the short third man.
Slightly checked his shot towards the end. And I think he's also sending a statement that he's not willing to come down the track anytime soon. Unless Bunn deliberately floats it up. Do you think that's another battle within a battle? You've seen him grow as a cricketer as well, Adam, especially in this part of the world. He's been excellent.
Absolutely. Adam is not a kid of yesterday. He's seen it all. Having grown up in the times of Adam Gilchrist and Matthew Wade in the Australian cricket system, playing for Victoria, New South Wales, South Australia, he's seen it all, honestly. And it's a time of his career right now where he's bringing all that experience to add to United States cricket at the same time, add a solid interface in the middle of the Seattle Thunderbolts innings. Huge addition to that lineup this season.
The second line of defense will cut it off. The first one reduces the pace. The second fielder gets to it and provides the dispatch. We talked about Adam, and he's also gotten into coaching, of course. So
Yes.
he rubs shoulders with a lot of youngsters as well. Do you think he himself is improving the game as well to adapt better to this format?
Oh, absolutely. Great question. Actually, I would think so. This is a format that pushes you to reinvent yourself every day, and he's playing with a completely new generation. And by the looks of it, he is reinventing himself every time. And that's the end of the over again. And David Bunn, I must just say that every time I look at David Bunn, he's got a bit of Daniel Vittori to him. He's just that languid, kind of floats into the crease and ever so slightly holds the ball back, and that's getting the batsman into the shot. So it's a lovely phase of the game right now. 11 overs gone, 3 wickets, 84 runs. Yeah, that's a good question. I think they came around about 45 is around. I was going to my wife, it was 45 to 3. I think was playing it. Both of them are not refreshing anymore. I've got both of them in.
Arnav Iyer, he's looked very promising. Can he be amongst the wickets as well? He has manacled Shadley to the crease, deep inside the crease, and that is because of the pace that he's got. This time deliberately bowling it slower, just to see Shadley if he can go through with a shot. Shadley knows that it's a packed leg side field in the deep. He's got two fielders lurking, will swallow anything that comes towards them. He's got to pierce the gap and get the elevation. He's got to back himself if he wants to go leg side, Shadley. Or a much better stroke of this kind, straight down the ground. And Jella Pereira will cut it off. Only a single. Shadley has been finding solace in singles. Just get a feeling now he needs to get a move on to take the pressure off Adam.
That's again outside the off stump. This time, Adam Crosswaith comes outside the off stump, takes the ball, and what he's been trying to do last over for Arnav, he kind of succeeds in doing this time by taking from the outside and depositing it onto the long leg fence.
That's a very good shot once again. Just what the situation wanted. Arnav's got some thinking to do now, because suddenly he's not bowling to someone who's targeting the V. He's bowling to someone who's 360. Adam's doing a lot of coaching, we said, also with the youngsters. Yesterday was trying to tell the youngster playing the V. If he turns up today and watches his coach play this one, that's quite a conversation waiting to happen. Will it be taken? No, it wouldn't, but it's an opportunity for sure. In and out. 9 out of 10 times could have completed the catch there.
Just to make it clear, this was played in the air as it left your screens, and right from deep cover, the fielder came in and the ball popped out of those outstretched hands. A chance gone a begging, and I would say at this point, the game, the way it is, it was Adam Crosswaith's wicket, so obviously it will play hard on the minds of the Bay Rollers, Bay Blazers right now.
That would be a single this time, and just got to feel for the youngster who did everything right, provided
Absolutely.
the opportunity to pick up the big fish and send it packing. But Adam's still out there, and that is something that Seattle Thunderbolts will breathe easy by. Arnav's got to create another opportunity. It's a big learning curve for the youngster.
Amidst all the things that Adam's doing, trying to move around the crease and all of it, at least 3 or 4 times I found him on the wrong foot playing the shot, almost catching himself in a half-cocked position, neither forward nor backward. And that's kind of an opportunity for the bowler, because that opens up the stumps. That's also what created the opportunity for Gurbaksh Khera to catch that ball at that point. But I think Arnav would be happy to get a moral victory on that on Adam, but bottom line is moral victories don't take you too far in T20 cricket. It just takes one chance like that, and a batsman like Adam can come heavy on you for the rest of the game.
Far from being a commentator, you double up as a wonderful statistician. If you can add a column to that Excel sheet if you're saying moral victory, I see no reason why it can't be added.
90 for 3 after 12 overs. Upwards of 7 the run rate. Obviously the Thunderbolts would like to up that to about 8 plus. David White is having a lot of animated conversation with his bowlers, and the next bowler is Angelo Pereira now.
White ball signal, doesn't need to chase it. Oh, the ball the ball eventually turning into left-handed. Do you think this is the over shot? He'll be looking to go big. That's in the air. Will it carry? Gurbaksh gets to it.
And he kind of makes up for the last wicket. What a splendid catch. And for the viewers, it's a pity that you can't see that, but he almost traveled about 8 steps from the boundary line inwards, and the ball was dipping on him quite fiercely. Outstretched his hands, kind of plucked it right 2 inches from the ground, and makes up for all the mistakes that he did in the previous opportunity. So the 4th wicket gone, and I would say Thunderbolts would be disappointed here, because Shadley did all the hard work to stem the fall of wickets, and stitch together a great partnership with Adam, and then give it all away. This was his first big shot, and that resulted in a wicket. So
It's not a good start for the star in this tournament, isn't it? He's got to wait for that one good innings under his belt, which announces to the world he's arrived once again to the minor league. But Shadley used to seeing fireworks so very often that you tend to forget that sometimes cricket tells you you're human.
no, totally well said that. And he has been truly the star of last season for Thunderbolts, and they would probably be hoping for him to gain some form. But the good thing about Shadley is he's a 3-dimensional cricketer. He brings in so much into a game, so if he fails the bat, you can count on him to come back hard and strong as a bowler. But that said, well played by by the Bay Blazers out here. They've been at it while the Thunderbolt has been stitching together a partnership. We could see the captain was animated. He kept up the ante with his bowlers, kept the intensity going. They created opportunity last over. They finally grabbed the opportunity this over. 4 wickets down. That brings in Harmeet Singh, the captain.
Oh, it's a fantastic field change as well. With the third man lurking slightly wider for the righty. Wants to make him open the face of the bat as he turns it away. What do you think about this bowling change? Good captaincy?
Absolutely. He's brought in a couple of left-handers in his side, and he's using them quite with a lot of thought. He's clearly defined the 8th to 15th over would be the time when he's going to play with those bowlers who are floating it in. Like I said, both of them have a little languid action. They kind of floating. They're not bowling too fast, and he's got a great arm ball, so to speak. There we go, slight drift outside the off stump, and Harmeet turns it around to the deep mid-wicket position to grab a single. That gets him off the mark.
Seattle Thunderbolts have a factory of left-handers, don't they?
They do, and good ones at that. I'm quite excited to look at Fani Simadri, the left-handed bowler, who I was so impressed last year. Reminded me so much of some of the renowned left-handed bowlers around the world, like Trent Boult and the likes of him. I'm so excited to see him in the side today. But at this moment, let's see how Harmeet Singh goes. He's definitely not going to hold himself back.
Doesn't want to waste any deliveries. If a single's on offer, it's going for it. Not waiting for the right ball to put away and hence wasting a delivery. Interestingly, there's been a slight change in the field as well every time Harmeet has played. He wants the field red cover to be as straight as possible. He wants to not allow Harmeet to even think of a single, let alone execute it, because Angelo Pereira, unlike other spinners, is going too ahead in his follow-through.
Every single ball in this over was bowled in that 3/4 stage of the wicket. He's bowling that slightly good length and kicking it up and not giving the batsman the opportunity to come under the ball or even over the ball to smack it square of the wicket. It's that little not to front, not to back kind of length for the batsman, and it's hitting them in the middle part of the bat. That's preventing them from getting too many runs, and it's just singles on offer. 95 for 3. 95 for 4, I'm sorry. At the end of the 13th over.
Seven overs, one set batter in the middle. Shield, are you looking at 150 here? Be a psychological total for sure. 140 looks good as well. As far as the Bay Blazers are concerned, they would want to curtail the opponents to 120, 130 and take the game away thereafter. Because they are someone who... You've seen that the Bay Blazers love to thrive with momentum.
Absolutely. And going with the record of Thunderbolt against this particular team last season, this is a remarkable recovery. Mark Dayal is back.
Klahani Park, 135 is a pass score. Do you feel that on this particular day?
Well, it looks like the par scores are going to get updated this season because the outfield is a complete chalk and cheese different from what we saw last year. Last year was a lush outfield, taller grass. The ball would travel with great degree of difficulty. We're seeing a lot of boundaries being hit today, which means the ball is traveling well. It's a true kind of outfield.
But ball signaled. And this was the first delivery that surprised Adam. Otherwise, he had an answer to every single delivery he faced.
Either that or it was a nice leave for him. He kind of predicted it was a wide ball. I thought it was in his zone for him to just flip his body and go with the shot. But he preferred to take the extra ball there.
Adam was itchy to get to the striker then once again. Harmeet said, "You're hallucinating, my man." The second run's definitely not on, and Arnav, who got to it the field, he was a pacer too. He's known for quick bullet-like throws. Oh, once that single, it's an afterthought though. Started to charge only because Adam wanted to. Big appeal.
And it's out. Adam Crosswaith against the run of play. Seattle Thunderbolt suffers a major setback in the game. The batsman certainly seems to have some degree of doubt as questioning the decision, but the umpire is quite clear with his decision that he was short of his crease. It was a lovely fielding. In fact, one would debate if there was a run or there was a need for a run like this with almost 7 overs to go for Harmeet to sneak a single like that. This could have been the single almost seemed like it was a 19th over kind of a play. But well, that was the action, and in the process they end up losing Adam Crosswaith. I would say that's a call that's going to haunt them in the particular game.
Rewind the tapes, you'd realize that Harmeet was a little concerned, even though he knew that Adam was charging towards the striker's end, which is the danger end. Harmeet went through with it eventually, and Adam, you could sense, was a little itchy to get to the striker's end entire over.
Touch and go.
Yeah.
Sorry. A touch and go call, really. But at the end, the umpire had the best view for that particular call, and they made it. Again, Bay Blazers against run of play. They're getting wickets at the right opportunity. They're not getting the moment that the Thunderbolt to get away from them. So it's been a fascinating game of cricket so far.
Rahul Singh, what can we expect from Rahul Singh? You've seen a lot of Rahul Singh's innings. Loves this situation. Like, he gets going very quickly. He's a very busy player as well. There's a sense of comfort batting with a captain, or is it the other way around? There are two different answers to it actually. Depends on your age group as well.
There's obviously that, but in this format of the game, I guess every player is quite audacious, so I don't think that fear works too much. But here it was more than that. It was the non-familiarity with someone like Adam, who's new to the setup and playing, first time with these in the minor league cricket. They probably would have played in the practice games and other things, but out in the middle, responding to the way Adam goes about his cricket and how quickly they should have. Probably there was a little lack of coordination there. Me personally, that was a single that could have been avoided this circumstance right now from the Thunderbolt point of view.
Yeah, in hindsight, it's a few inches that has troubled the Thunderbolts. It was a jolt as the wicket caller went by. It's Adam, the man, back in the pavilion. It's important that these two don't try to mend the innings, but continue with the momentum to go for the big shots from the word go right away. Can they do it though? So very happy with that single being conceded.
It's the 95, right?
But he might change. I think his own sweet drive after every over.
98,
98.
99,
He is guessing at
99.
99 for 5. Yeah.
So 14 overs, 99 for 5. These two spinners have done a have had a remarkable impact on the game so far. They've not only picked up wickets, but they've created opportunities. The batsmen had to take chances of have to take a lot of risks, and in the process losing their wickets. So good changes, really. Like your question a while back, which you asked about the left-hand spinner, they've had already significant impact on the fate of this game so far.
It's a very shrewd one in operation at the moment.
Yeah.
Angelo Pereira has played a lot of cricket in Sri Lanka with turning tracks. And he's someone who thinks like a batter. So wants to stay one step ahead when he has the ball in hand.
And we have seen a few absolute masters of left-arm spins coming from Sri Lanka, as recent as Rangana Herath. And Angelo's bringing all his guile out here. He doesn't have just one ball. He's got different paces, got a lovely arm ball. And he, at this time, slightly outside the leg stump. And Harmeet curtailing his instincts, playing big shots, and this time just nudging it to Khaira, deep square leg. The Thunderbolts would like to have a few more big shots coming out here, but they have got themselves in a little bit of a pickle at this point. So they're still deciding when is the time to launch for those big shots and holding. But that's they're now into the three figures, and going by the record last season against this particular opposition, they had scored 120-ish scores, and they would probably want to better that record. They will have to better that record by quite a margin to have some impact on this game.
Good running between the wickets. Knew immediately that two had to be taken there. Pereira has impressed one and all.
Absolutely.
With a huge heart to flight the ball like that.
It's almost like after pitching the ball loses a few Ks speed, and the batsman has to hold back for a moment to get the ball, and there's not much of speed coming on the ball for the batsman to do anything with it. So it's only those nudges and dabs that you can do to get a few singles and doubles across the wicket. $106 for 5 after 15. They are start the 16th over.
The calls for two once again. Every time the ball falls, the calls for two. They all had to relay it. And running for that overthrow was never an option because Harmeet at the other end was recovering from the second.
Totally. Most of the field are boundary riders now. At that stage of the game, it's the last mile.
Early in the game when Angie was playing, that's the only six that we saw on the offside.
Yeah.
Would have been suicidal. It was a wild throw. Saideep had to tame it a little bit. Otherwise, a throw right on top of the stumps would have meant Rahul would have been back in the pavilion. Harmeet, he's got to consider the fact that it would have been the second run out as well, so he's got to be very careful. He's, I think, just looking at the running speed of others with the yardstick of measurement is Harmeet himself.
Yeah, slightly disappointing throw from Rusty there.
Oh, just opening the face of the bat.
And that lands right outside the boundary line for a big six here on the off stump or on the offside. That comes at the right moment right now. Rahul, no half measures, just sinking on his knee and scooping it over the point boundary for six.
It's one of the most stylish shots we've seen, and it's worth the wait to see another six on the offside. With the wind opening the face of the bat, getting the elevation. And the importance of going through with the shot and not having any doubt whatsoever. Shines through there with a shot of that kind. Martial's got to recalibrate his line there. Martial's not really happy. Initially thought that could have been converted into a catch as well, but that was at least 10 yards away from the fielder. Looking at deep backward square. Now for Harmeet, the deep backward square would suddenly turn into a deep point.
Nawaz Khan, he's got a slight languid self to himself, moves with little degree of flair. And this time it was a lovely shot from Harmeet, right on the square. Nawaz again on the chase, but the ball wins the battle to the boundary. A much awaited boundary for Harmeet Singh. This is probably his first one. He's been pushing and prodding. We know that he can go for big ones, but this time this shot was flat on the ground. Lovely placement, getting himself 4. So in a span of 3 balls, the Thunderbolt have upped the ante a bit.
Just tells you how hard he's hitting as well to get it kissing the carpet of the grass all through to get to the boundary. And Harmeet will pick up a single retain strike. Enjoy his outing out there. The captain's doing his bit with a bat in hand too. Mark Dale's got some thinking to do. It's not the over that he'd planned. 120 on the board.
That's a good launch pad now for 4 overs to go. 120. If they can go at about 8 or 9, they're looking at that 150 number that he spoke about, Suhas. What's good to see out here with Thunderbolt, and I saw them a few games in the home games last season. They were quite unidimensional in their batting. They would just go with one kind of pace and then kind of lose the plot once that didn't click. There is a couple of dimensions to their batting this season. They're waiting and watching. They're stitching together partnership when there are a few wickets that are falling. They're not reluctant to actually hold themselves back and build innings together, and then after that get onto the launch pad again. So it looks quite good, and I hope that they can launch from here to get some good runs, to get above that par score of 135, and probably get to 150. Rusty Theron is back. He was very expensive against Andreas Goss earlier in the game. Couple of sixes in the first over. I'm sure he would like to make some amends here.
The captain's quite clear that this is the role they're giving you, Rusty. Come back towards the end. Do not let the opposition get any momentum whatsoever. Hit the hard length. And Rusty Theron's a different kind of a bowler. The batters are coming after him. It's one such situation. Can he use that top edge as well? Not if that's the length. He's deliberately rolling his fingers over the ball as well. Doesn't want to provide any pace whatsoever to Harmeet. With Rahul, it's a different story altogether. Usually with Rusty, we see the top edges fly, and that's when the fielders come into the equation. Today, it's been different tactics from Rusty Theron.
He's again bowling that good length kind of a ball, a heavy ball that sort of comes out of the batsman with some pace. It looks like it's pacey, although he's holding the ball back. The Thunderbolts have done well on rotating their batsmen, the left and right batsmen in their lineup, and that's not given the opposition, the Bay Blazers, the opportunity to get away on one particular line. We spoke about number of left-handers in the Thunderbolts lineup, and that's kind of been a good strategy from them to not let the
return after such a good bouncer with a smile. Usually it's with a concern that he turns to see if the umpire's arms are spreading or no. The slower delivery. He's got a stamp of authority when Rusty Theron gets the slower delivery right. He's mixing it up wonderfully well. This is an exhibition of dead bowling. He's got it right so far, both for the righty and the lefty. Can he close it out well? Will land safely. Was in the air for a jiffy, just enough to have to come and the captain will bowl spin.
Yeah. Wait. So these 4 bowlers are already 16 overs. Harry 20. So I think. I guess they're only going to expect 2 from either Rohan or Adesh up in the power play.
Back on.
Thank you.
Go for it. Go for it.
Harmeet gets another one from the middle of the bat, and that travels a long, long way over the mid-wicket fence. A lot of thinking to do for Nawaz. Every time it's provided pace, Harmeet has provided placement. It's been a great game of timing this. Harmeet Singh and Rahul, this partnership will be talked about for a while. It's a signal to Seattle Thunderbolts that things are going right. They picked the team with a lot of belief. Now these partnerships that are brewing in the middle are signaling that many of those plans are coming to fruition. We've been searching for the Yorker as much as a ball in the woods. The Yorker is still missing.
True that, absolutely. The bowling is happening as if it's the 8th or 9th over right now. Oh, that's again on the road shot. Harmeet has kind of skied it. It's up in the air, and it's an easy take by Arnav. And that's the end of Harmeet Singh. It was in the slot, slightly mistimed. The ball scooped up right in the air, and Arnav did the rest of it. It was an easy. So for a brilliant 35 from just 18 balls, Harmeet falls, and it's 106.
Nawaz has the last laugh.
Totally.
Picks up Harmeet and also his signal, at least 15 at it.
A second wicket for the day, Nawaz. He had a good start to the match, but then got clubbed for a few at the back end, which is understandable. But comes back and picks up a prized wicket of Harmeet Singh. Like Suhas mentioned, could have had impact of at least 15 more runs, or we would have stayed there. Now that brings Avdesh Rai to the crease.
Avdesh Rai is no muck with it. He can score a lot of runs indeed, but the situation is such that it's not been that kind of a surface or a day where a batter coming in can go bang bang from the word go. Perhaps, oh, he's gone through it. Correct me for 4. Watch out for number 153.
He clearly had some answer to your question out there, Suhas.
Absolutely.
Right on cue.
Yeah, in the same breath, that ball was for 4. And he got it inside out as well. It's one of the most difficult shots to play. Third in length. Nawaz has provided just enough room. Boundary first ball. Talent.
He goes for it. The out there. This slightly shorter, but there was width in there, and every single ball that has been pitched with some degree of width, the Thunderbolts have attacked it hard. And it was a second 4 on the trot. What a fantastic response from Avdesh Rai, coming in the 20th over, not wasting any opportunity, scoring some valuable runs for his team.
Yeah, sensational placement as well. Arnav, the fielder in the deep, is someone who's tall and lanky, covers a lot of yards very quickly, still wasn't able to get to it. Was making the same mistake. It's not a replay. It's 6 this time around. It's traveled the distance. Oh, what a finish. This man's not only creating the launch pad, he's also launching the ball a long, long way.
Oh, he is having a ball out there, Suhas. He's just arrived and taken 14 runs in 3 balls as if this is a game of fun.
He started in the same region, and the bowler is not learning from his mistakes. side. Navas is just pitching it up and is giving enough room to go inside out. The first shot was still a shot to be picked out of the three.
One ball to go still. 20 runs been taken in this ball. In the last ball, he isn't able to just goes to the wicket keeper. Once a single taken, that ends the innings for Seattle Thunderbolts. 178 at the end of 20 overs. They will go back super happy after this display at the Klahani today. They have made certainly their highest score last season against this opposition was 120, and they have certainly done it. They turned it around completely today. 178 is not a bad score, so it's not a bad score at all.
178 is an excellent total in this kind of a track. David White and co would be discussing how to maximize the initial 6 overs. They need to get as many as possible in the first 6 so that they do not put pressure towards the back end. 178 is a tremendous total, having lost the toss and being put to bat. So 179 is a magical number that David White and co, the Big Blazers, would be after. Will they be able to get there? We'll wait and watch. It's been tremendous hitting to launch pad and play that of the try, it seems.
Absolutely. We were looking at 120 at the end of 15, and we were contemplating whether 150 would be a score. 30 runs last 10 overs, but they certainly had other intentions, Seattle Thunderbolt, and the end. We could just say the acceleration was phenomenal. 178 with their kind of bowling, they certainly would count themselves pretty fortunate.
Oh, definitely. And they would believe they have enough on the board to defend. Now these places, as the captain mentioned at the toss as well, it doesn't really matter how many the opponents get, it's about getting one more, and that's how simple we keep cricket in our camp. It's going to be quite a run chase. The reply from the East Bay Blazers. There's a lot at stake when you want to win the first game to get momentum. You want to set the tone nicely for the entire tournament. There's a lot at stake indeed. Who will grab the... Will it be the Seattle Thunder East Bay Blazers? It was wonderful bringing the first innings to you. I'm Suhas Vedam, joined by Sheel and Chijan Voices now to take you through the reply for the first few overs. It's going to be Sheel along with Anirudh in the com box. Ani, take it away.
One thing that is worth mentioning is that Avdesh is just coming back from a very long shoulder injury. First season, actually last year, he suffered a very unfortunate shoulder injury early on in the game after only pulling one over, taking a spectacular diving catch, actually landing on his shoulder. And so for him to come back in such an incredible manner, finding those very crucial runs toward the end, was just great to see. I think those runs will mean a lot to him and to the team as well. I mean, if you saw the celebrations, everyone was very excited for that.
Beautiful having Andrew in the commentary box. And his insights are so invaluable bringing those things. Now, one thing that when I look at the scorecard to contemplate on East Bay Blazers bowling, David White would have some things to think about. That why did they go with Rusty Theron and Nawaz towards the end? Because as we look at the bowling figures out here, it was Rusty's 45 run, Nawaz's 41 from 4. I mean, they had to go for the faster bowlers towards the end, but they certainly ended up getting some tap from bowlers, from the batsmen of Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I definitely think that their plans could have been adjusted accordingly. Towards the end, I think they were missing their length a little bit, or maybe their plans were a bit off in terms of length. And so when you bowl to guys who are very wristy, like Rahul Singh and Harry, as we saw, they're really able to pick up the ball from those fuller lengths. And so I think they could have tried to rely a little bit more on Yorkers, but again, the lengths were just a little bit off. And with pace on Astro, because it just comes onto the bat nicely. I think they really played to our strengths. I guess the Thunderbolts really having a lot of experience with that kind of bowling here, especially in the death. So there needs to be some just especially going into tomorrow's game. I think that's something they'll have to look at, changing their plans toward the death. But I love watching the way Rahul kind of came into that situation and very quickly adjusted and scored some very crucial runs there. Wasted no time at all.
Absolutely, totally agree with you. And Rahul's batting reminded us that T20 is not all about ugly shots towards the end. I mean, he was all cricketing shots at the end of the only thing that he was precise in what kind of when he wanted up in the air for huge shots, they were all well timed. They were good cricketing shots. Absolutely clear in which part of the ground he wanted. That's good definition, good lesson for any youngsters watching the game, that when you're going for the slog overs, it's not about playing ugly shots. It's about holding your shape, timing the ball, and choosing the right ball to go after it. So those are some great display of cricket.
Yeah, I mean, if you watched his shots, he was really playing to the merit of the ball. I mean, none of those shots were, across the line or really forced. He played very classic shots. It's just that the way he timed it and the way he, forced the field to kind of open up to his strengths, I think was incredible. A lot of batsmen towards the end will look to just try and hit, up in the air and really just try and clear the boundary. But the thing is, the way Rahul really manipulated the field, at first just forcing single double, and making them kind of trying to adjust the field, thinking that he was just going to stick with that plan, and then opening up the field to make sure that he had that gap towards extra cover, a little bit behind square, so that he could really free his arms there, and then just forcing those inside-out shots. Those are some brilliant shots. He knew exactly what he's doing, and that's one of those things that make it's like the mark of a great batsman. He knows his strengths, and he knows how to make sure that he gets the field to open up for him. I mean, just kind of manipulating the field and really playing with the ball. Because then, when you can't really rely on, a typical ball in the death, right, which is one of those, maybe you bowl a hard length, like just a little bit outside off, and then you pack that offside, and then he kind of works it around to the leg side, and he's just scoring these easy singles. Really, okay, do I try and, maybe bowl a little bit fuller and think that he's going to try and drive it, on the ground. But the thing is, the minute they did try that, they tried to experiment just a little bit with that length. They bowled a little bit full, and he was just able to go over the covers, very easily there. And then towards the end, you saw that six that he pulled towards the leg side, right? Again, that was just an overcorrection, just looking to maybe try and drag the length or the line a little bit towards the leg side, thinking that maybe, okay, now, instead of giving that room outside off, we'll just try and cramp him. But again, he has all the shots in the book. So that's one of those, those plans that he has very well thought out. And so as a bowler, if you lose that mental battle in the death, really just, not knowing what to bowl and not having some sort of, plan in mind or being able to adjust that plan, then you let the batsman get on top of you and just score runs like that.
Looking at the East Bay Blazers batting, who are the people that, from your experience in the last season, that you think are going to be crucial in this chase?
I mean, they have a very strong batting lineup, to be honest. I think they are going to be missing Sujit Gowda. I think his addition last season was incredible for the team and very crucial. But again, up top they have. But I think one very excited to watch is Rohan Posanapalli. I think a great addition to the Seattle Thunderbolts. He adds a lot of pace, and this guy, I think, just being able to work with someone like Shadley will be, great for his career, because Shadley, if you watch very closely, I mean, for anyone watching the game, make sure you try and watch his approach to the crease. He is a very subtle bowler in the way he changes his line of attack, right? Because he'll run in straight, but towards the end, he'll either jump in or out and just change that angle of release. And it really plays into the batsman's mind, as with the new ball especially, when you can swing it both ways, very difficult to pick. And so if Rohan can really pick up some of these things from a guy like Shadley with a brilliant cricket IQ, that's really going to do great things for him. I think he's a huge prospect for US cricket.
That's the beauty of this tournament, isn't it? That bringing in international talent and mixing them with some of the exciting unit talent, and hoping that there's some synergy, there's some talent influx that happens. And Shadley has been a wonderful role model for this team for the last couple of years, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Shadley, Andres, Harry, these guys are, very knowledgeable. And I think the addition of Adam as well really just kind of blends, really just binds this group together. But again, Shadley, just being able to rub shoulders with Shadley, especially as a coach for some of the youth here, has done incredible things. I mean, some of these kids, when I was that age, I was nowhere near that kind of talent. These kids are phenomenal coming up. And so just kind of learning from these guys will do great things for them. But again, for Rohan, right, this is a kid he's still growing. I mean, this guy, you see on camera, he's 6'3" right now. And he's still growing into his frame. So he's going to get taller and faster. And, one of the things that you really have to watch out for is that run-up. It's so smooth. and just the way he attacks the crease, his point of release, some incredible things to work with here. And so if he can get some of those, just skills from Chadley, his ability to kind of change the pace a little bit and play with the angles that he bowls with, I think this is going to go very far. Someone I'm very excited to watch, especially throughout the season and his career over time.
We will take a break, but prior to that, last question from you. Who are the bowlers you're looking for apart from Rohit bowling lineup?
Yeah, so I think the addition of Akhilesh is going to be incredible because I think him bowling in tandem with Harry is going to put a lot of pressure through the middle overs. Because as we saw, today the Thunderbolts did a great job of rotating the strike. There was not much pressure throughout the middle overs. They're really able to rotate the strike. But when you have guys like Harry and Akhilesh who can bowl 6 different balls, in an over, and they are very mentally strong. They have incredible plans. They know how to bowl to batsmen. They know how to set up batsmen. This is going to be a battle that I'm going to very much enjoy watching. I think Akhilesh and Harry are two guys who are really going to control the flow of this game, through the middle overs. And so, if those two perform well in tandem together, I think today it's going to be the Thunderbolts day, really.
There you have it, from the inside man from Thunderbolt camp, Anirudh, and we're going to take a little short break as the innings get started, and we'll join up back with the action once that gets going.
Definitely because the par score is much higher. Because I said 135, 140, but
Yeah, this is going to be much higher.
much higher. But I think I don't know if it'll be like higher than 130. But definitely the fact that they've gone to 178 is gonna be.
The first shot, which was his boundary, which was a complete round, that would never have gone to the boundary.
It would never, but he hit it like a wrong. And then, I think there was 2 boundaries in this innings that were both on the ground. I think one was covered this side and one was here.
Yeah.
That were actually on the ground, and I thought that's like a very rare. Like you have to be hit so hard to go like that.
That's an indication that it's a good outfield.
Good outfield, but I mean incredible stroke that.
Oh, totally. Stroke was brilliant.
But yeah, Harry, that wrist power that he generates is like.
It's so incredible. I never thought till last year when I saw him that he's built his batting so well. He's always the left-hand bowler that we knew upcoming is under 19 days and all of that. But he's really worked hard on his batting.
He has, and but one of the things is that him adjusting to Astro, thing is when he took his batting down a little bit last year, so he didn't adjust. But he always had that ability. Like if you watch him in the Knicks, he hit them so off. We practiced Barrymore. When we pulled him there, he would send them like well into the like he was just hitting everything that came to him.
Wow.
But again, yeah, last year he underperformed a little bit, but today was like the captain's inning kind of. How much did he score?
He scored 35, I think. Yeah, 35.
See, today individual contributions were not high.
Yeah.
Everyone contributed. That's
Always on
and see that's one of those things I said in the beginning, right? They've taken pressure off Andre, so then will contribute now. But best cameos of Desh Rai, 14. Valuable.
Difference at the end.
It really is. It really is. No, it's in the box on that side, like in the middle tent. Go to the middle tent. But yeah, because the pressure off Andres allowed him to at least stick free his arms.
Yep.
But then there wasn't like one point in time where you thought there's too many wickets down. Try this. This is like really good. It's like a juice, sugar-free juice. Nice. It's like not like added sugar. It's like regular fruit juice.
Can we get a
Very nice, yeah.
extension cord thing here?
Shadley Van Chopik is opening the ballot.
We should, yeah. All right, innings about to get underway, and we've got Shadley last, one of the best bowlers in the season. In general, he had a phenomenal season. I think he took over 30 wickets. Yeah, Shadley's one of those guys who's not only a very intelligent bowler, but he takes a lot of pressure off the other bowlers that bowl with him. He's very economical, has a great strike rate, and so what ends up happening is the other bowlers, they have this, a bit of leeway to play with. They can try and here and there with some slower balls and some change-ups, and even if they do go for runs, that Shadley has got him covered on the other end. So bowling with a guy like that, I think, really helps, especially the youngsters that will be bowling today. Ooh, and straight away we see some great movement there. Shadley, beautiful swing, great shape there.
Totally agree with you. I have seen Shadley last season. He has a great control over keeping things tight. I like the way he takes the ball out. Even his first one was ball which was leaving the batsman. Foxed him a little.
Ooh, again, another beautiful delivery. Now Shadley has, he has his ability to bowl in the channel consistently and really just, move it at will. But one of the things that you really have to watch is where he lands at the crease. Now, and I think from this camera angle you can really see it. He runs in straight, but at the last minute he'll jump out or he'll jump in a little bit. And so what ends up happening is, if he jumps left to the batsman, it looks like he's angling it in, and that's the one where it might just kind of go straight through, and so it ends up coming into them, or from that angle he just moves it away slightly and he kind of squares them up, very well. But then at times when he does jump in and he bowls a little bit straighter and he gets that outswing going, it's almost unplayable. And so his ability to work with angles of the crease makes him, very talented.
First 3 balls for Thunderbolts out here. Nothing given, absolutely. Now this time the ball comes in, so he's mixing it up nicely.
Exactly, this one just kind of went through straight. Again, a very great length though. No room to play with.
Totally.
Margin for error on this wicket, again, as we said, is quite small, but Shadley, there's no error in his bowling there.
This is the length I was talking about when the East Bay Blazers were bowling. Whenever they bowled this good length ball, which bounced up to the batsman, that's a length that is completely unplayable, or rather say, you can't get much purchase out of that. That for the faster bowlers to bowl, but the question is, can they stick to that consistently? It's very difficult to get underneath that, and it's very difficult to get over it to play square of the wicket. It's something that puts them in that awkward spot.
I'll tell you, that's very intentional though, because the team management actually does a great job of. Again, well bowled. If you saw there, he just jumped out a little bit and angled it in. And so he does really well to play with those angles. But again, these lengths that they're bowling are very intentional. And the team management, especially guys like Vijay, when they come to practice, they kind of debrief the bowlers about these lengths, and then they set up targets actually for them to continue just hitting that same hard length over and over again until it becomes ingrained almost. Because they have very intensive preseason. Everything's done intentionally. The lengths they bowl, the change-ups, everything is practiced. And again, great ball. No room for him to really free his arms. But again, good shot by Saideep. Good single there. So yeah,
Saideep Ganesh and David White.
So these lengths again, as you mentioned, right? The Thunderbolts practice this for months before the season starts, and that's why you'll see Shadley hit it so consistently at will.
So the first over without loss, and David White is the other batsman, the captain of East Bay Blazers, and Shadley has kept them quiet in the first over. 3 runs of the first over, chasing 179, is something that Thunderbolts would be happy about, but we certainly can hope for things to get a little more frenetic from here. These are the first 6 overs that the Bay Blazers would be looking to capitalize on with some faster runs. That's at Funny Samadri.
Yeah, as you mentioned, most teams will look to try and capitalize on this power play, especially because there's not much protection in the deep. But that's why they brought on Funny. Funny is one of those, again, very skillful bowlers. He's not the quickest, but he's got some of the best change-ups I've seen. A little bit of a wide to start, no worries. But look at that arm angle that he bowls with, very wide. And so then he has this ability to bowl this off-cutter from that angle. And so it looks like it's kind of going wide, but again, with that angle, it just slightly comes in and then he'll cut it away from you. And so he's got a great skill set, and especially in the power play, it's very useful for the Thunderbolts.
Funny Samadri impressed me immensely last season. He was probably one of those bowlers in the side whom I was excited to see. You mentioned the off-cutters. Reminded me of Mustafizur Rahman. He was practically toying some of the opposition batsmen with his off-cutters. Very difficult to get away. Starting a little wayward today with 2 wides. But yes, I completely agree with you that his skill he's got a quite skillful approach to his bowling. That said, that was a full ball out there, and Saideep was able to push it towards deep square leg to get a single. Runs coming in singles or extras at this moment. Things are a bit quiet.
We'll see him slowly start to get his rhythm back and kind of work into his channels again. But not a terrible start, just a couple extras. But here he's adjusting the line again. So, well bowled. There we go, on the mark. And because of that wide arm angle, when he hits that Yorker, it comes in at such a low angle. It's very hard to see, almost like a Malinga-like arm angle there.
It's got a slingy action there. That was a nice Yorker directed right in the middle of the middle stump. David White did it well to dig it out. Once again, a single. And first look at Rohan Pasanapalli there as a fielder. Oh, that's a chance. A sharp single taken by Saideep. One would question whether there was wisdom in taking that. But yeah, that's the way T20 gets played. You take a bit of risk, it comes off. You live another day. And if it doesn't, it tends to look a little stupid.
Yeah, again, some of those risky runs that we saw in the first innings led to some runouts. So, had they not been run out, I guess we would have been saying, great run there, looking to take some cheeky singles. But again, here, since they did pull it off.
Slightly full ball outside the off stump. A little bit of width out there. David White did well to bend his knee and squeeze a single towards deep point.
So Funny, he's not as quick as Shadley, and so his bowling plan might be a little bit different in terms of the length he's hitting, especially because David is a very tall batsman. But see, that angle allows him to really kind of dip the ball in. You see that? It just kind of sunk on Saideep there, because Saideep, I think he was expecting it to be, a bit higher of a full toss, but the way that sunk on him, he just had to drop to reach it. And so it might be a plan on Funny's part, and it's seemed to work out all right.
That man, Adam Crossway, you can't keep him out of the game, can you? After that lovely middle order batting, he is doing some gallant fielding out there in the short mid-wicket position. Once again, Funny Samadri on the leg stump this time, turned over his hip. Easy for the batsman, David White. That's the first boundary of East.
Just getting it slightly wrong there, a little bit too much down the leg. Easy runs for David. Good on him to capitalize. Those bad balls, when they do come by, good batsmen are able to convert. And here we've seen a great example of that. But again, yeah, on his side, I think just needs to calibrate that line a little bit and really take things from there. But yeah, as you mentioned, Adam got great energy on the field, really brings the group together. Make sure that the group really just always focused in the field. Sometimes it's a nice warm day, you kind of get a little drowsy in the field. But Adam, make sure everyone's pumped and ready to go at all times.
Great to have a character like that. Absolutely, cricket has a great opportunity for characters to come in, and every team must have a few that can gel, keep the team bound into together. They spend a long time doing a whole lot of hard work. Shadley's back with the third over. The score is 14 after 2. Oh, that shot was towards Rohan. He did some
good cover by Jaggu. Very good cover. Jaggu is one of those guys, very quick and athletic on the field. Last year, he had taken some phenomenal catches here deep on the boundary, just some phenomenal diving catches. Always gives his 100% on the field. Love to see it.
That was good, covering up from the mid-off to ensure that the misfield doesn't go there. Once again, push towards the mid-off. Rohan Pusanapalli again, making sure that he cleans it up, just keeps the entire proceeding to just a single. This is setting up to be a good game of cricket, especially to start off the proceedings in the Pacific Conference.
There we go.
That's played up in the air. Rohan Pusanapalli once again, and he has dropped the catch. It's been a bit of a mixed bag for Rohan.
That is Akhilesh.
That's Akhilesh.
That's Akhilesh that dropped it. Yeah. No, Rohan is. Yeah. I think Akhilesh called for it, so everyone gave him space. Jaggu was running in, but Akhilesh again is great fielder, so a bit of a slip up on his side, but I wouldn't worry a little too much about that.
Yeah.
I think Shadi will come back. Again, that ball just kind of rising on Saideep. He wasn't really able to get under it, and just brought it the top edge.
Situation playing on their mind, I guess. It's a credit to the bowlers. Need for capitalizing on the power play, and the batsman trying for an opportunity. Saideep wanted to capitalize on that one. It was a wrong choice of a shot.
Yeah, I think momentum. That's what the the Blazers really need here, because going into the middle overs, they will have wickets. It looks like they haven't really lost wickets yet, but without that initial start, it's going to be very difficult to score boundaries, especially when you have guys like Harry coming in. It's going to be very difficult to score. But I think they're going to start trying to take on Funny next over. They've got an idea for what he's bowling. They've got an idea for his pace, and so I'll be excited to see how Funny deals with that. He's very skillful bowler, as I said. So what kind of changes he brings to combat that will be very entertaining to watch. Great stop there by Akhilesh. And another brilliant over by Shadley. Again, just incredible bowling by this guy. I mean, he is consistently good. Shadley's one of those bowlers that you can always depend on, no matter what. You look to him for a very solid 4 overs, 2 up front, 2 in the death. But because they do have a lot of bowling depth today, we'll have to see where they kind of take the rest of his overs. Because funny is, a death over specialist. But, okay, we have a bowling change. We have Avdesh Rai coming in. Avdesh, great, tall, well, hard length. He's got great height, and he's got a good release point. And so I think that's a good change by the Thunderbolts. I don't think Funny was really hitting his mark there, and it's good to get the new ball to Avdesh right now when he's able to move it away. Overs where he'll.
It's a good time to give Avdesh the ball. He's in a fun fight. On the last, so it's good to bring him on the attack as adrenaline is pumping hard, and he obviously is feeling quite well on the field today. So it would be nice to see him take charge of the.
I love seeing is when he'll come down and talk to the bowlers every time they start. He just gives them a quick pep talk, just lets them know like this is your plan, this is what you bowl. Don't worry too much happens. Just recalibrate to this. He's a very dependent guy. I mean, he brings a lot of leadership to the bowling unit, and he gives you a lot of confidence. He backs you. So Avdesh, coming back after, and then to be bowling at this level, it gives him good confidence going in. Here we go. Avdesh's first ball after quite a while.
Well, that's up in the air again. There's not many fielders in the deep. And a magnificent effort out there.
He slightly misjudged it. I think he'd planted himself, just a couple of feet too far to the right, and so he ended up having to pull up. He was in the air for long enough, but I feel if he had just moved a little bit more to his left, gotten under it, it would have been a good, solid catch. Not a bad start by Avdesh.
Fine for Ferdy. Great catch if you would have taken it. Once again on the off stump. Slightly coming in. And David White was in two minds, whether to cut the ball or just nudge it to back the square of the wicket. On the offside. Corner, no man's land out there. Agree with your assessment on the bowlers out here, Anirudh. This time it was a short, dispatched by David. First shot of authority play Blazers. Over mid-wicket. And that
was a brilliant shot. The margin for error here, Avdesh is, he's not got the most pace, and he just missed his length by a little bit. But again, it just goes to show on very unforgiving, very difficult to bowl on. Not much in it for the bowlers. We have to see how he comes back.
Oh, that's wonderfully played. Straight on the wicket, between the umpire and the mid-off. That's right from the middle of the bat, David White, and that's 4.
Yeah, so there, you bowl one that's a little bit too short, and they get pulled. The next ball, they try and overcompensate. Confident. So if you overcompensate, you end up bowling a little bit too full. That's what happens. But I back Avdesh to come back, start hitting his lengths again. And I'm not seeing the ball move too much. I think the ball is kind of lost its shine.
Yep.
White ball is not the best for bowlers, but it's just his lengths. He has to show he's hitting those lengths properly.
David White looks to be a batsman who's got a range of shots in his armory. And he's certainly looking at the ball to the last moment. This was played very late, square of the wicket, and the third man went and cleaned it up on the boundary line. 2 runs to the batsman. This over is looking to be a profitable one from his perspective. A few runs scored. The run rates being upped, a 6 and a 4. Good to see the momentum picking up here.
Yeah, David is he's looking good, looking confident. And again, just finding those gaps. Oh, fraction too short. That is a flat 6. That has been hammered away. Very flat 6. That was a brilliant shot. That kind of just raced away. Again, missing that length just a little bit too short, a little bit too straight. But the challenge for the Thunderbolts is really to bring this next over in and keep it contained. I think I don't think we're going to see Shadley come back for his third. I think you know there's going to be a bit of pressure on him, but I know that he's going to be his ability to bowl with the ball when it's a little bit newer. He gets a little bit more rip, and he really places in the right areas. Very smart bowler.
Thank you very much, Sheen. Thank you very much, Anirudh. We're getting a little bit more cushion as well now that the restrictions will be lifted. Again, that was the plan initially, but now it's one thing to be bowling the power play. It's quite another to be bowling thereafter. Isn't it? Yeah, it's 2 more overs to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think Harry is just kind of taking the responsibility to kind of finish off the power play here. And so last season, at times when their position was really putting pressure up front, he took that role upon himself and really just came into the power play. And Funny did a great job of that as well.
Absolutely. I remember watching him Silicon Valley strikers as well, putting the first over because he wanted the early wickets. And purchased one as well.
Yeah, he did a good job of opening there. Even against the East Bay Blazers, actually, I remember the game, the plan being Shadley would open, but then, is that a chance there? No, that is another boundary. Well hit. Good pick up there. I think Harry's just missed the length a little bit, but he's going to reuse the field to cover for that.
Oh, well, check as far as the batter is concerned.
Kind of hit him high up on the bat, and he just kind of sent it straight to Avdesh. But great on Avdesh to really just take that catch and be a safe pair of hands deep in the boundary.
Yeah, they'll provide some momentum for the men in pink. As far as the East Bay Blazers are concerned, they've just got a 6.
I've got to believe that this batsman has a lucky hat. I haven't seen him take this hat off all day. It's not often you see a bowler wearing a hat while bowling, but I think he's done a great job of it. I think it's the new style, T20.
Yeah, as far as being a bowler and wearing a hat or a cap is concerned, it's all right until the batter feels it's a distraction. At the moment, the hat was black in color, just merged with the side screen. Didn't have a problem at all. Try wearing a white one. There have been instances where Mark Dayal would be coming in, again very, very experienced, and plays franchise cricket all over the world.
Smart plan to send in a lefty at this point in time, especially with Harry bowling. And now that the ball's kind of stopped shining, I think that lefty-righty combination is going to play a little bit on the bowler's mind. And, having to adjust the field and their lines accordingly. We'll have to see, how they adjust and how they adapt.
East Bay Blazers, I think that's one of the reasons that Mark Dayal's out there right away. To try and counter the spin of Harmeet, and they understand that it's not kind of run chase where you can play Harmeet out. It's not where you can sacrifice 4 overs and look at 16 overs to score all keep the scoreboard ticking as well. And someone like Dayal, who's so good against the spinners, has been sent in. Right, which is a battle within a battle. Here is Harmeet. Slightly more bounce this time around. Straight to point. He's got two fielders for the cut.
Yeah, I guess, against that left, he's really looking to play it late and play it behind square. So it's a good plan on him. Kind of bowling to his field, the way he set this packed offside.
Gets the elevation this time. The fielder at point will watch it sail. It trickle away to the fence in the same region.
Again, a touch too short. Not just that, a little bit too wide, giving him the freedom to really open his arms and just throw the bat at that one. And again, good start for Mark, and the Blazers are looking pretty good. I think they've picked up some momentum from the initial over.
The world knows that Mark Dayal is a fantastic cricketer, especially when he's trying to chase something which is a little low. Because we've seen so many teams getting into a tangle when they're trying to chase low scores. Because they get into the conundrum of what to attack, what not to. But Mark Dayal is someone who's always believed put the step on the gas and fire through. So now that he's getting a bigger total to chase, we'll try and make sure that he stays there for a longer period of time and the runs will flow. He's that kind of a cricketer.
Yeah, he just worked that one to the leg side so easily. That's, a sign of great confidence in a batsman. Just easily ability to, just find the gaps in the field and really play to his strengths. But now we see Akhilesh coming on to bowl. Akhilesh has been a great pickup for the Thunderbolts. I think he's a phenomenal bowler. If you watched him in Atlanta last year, he's done incredible. And I think him, taking responsibility here is going to be a great introduction to the Thunderbolts.
Absolutely right, and he was a treat to watch during the recently concluded tournament in the Eastern Conference as well. The Unity Cup. Took his team to the semis.
I think the decision to bring on the off spinner to the lefty was very intelligent by Harry. There we go. Is that an opportunity? Oh, no, that is a big six.
That was six the moment he left the bat. That is straight as an arrow as well. I think he's come up with a plan. And he's also showing the world that he's got the reputation, he's got the skill, and at the same time, he's also getting elevation very easily up against Akhilesh, who has the depth usually. The dip is not working. When you target the initial part of the over and get a boundary early on, you always have the option of trickling it away all around the park and picking up a single. This is excellent cricket from Mark Dayal.
Yeah, brilliant start by him. No time wasted just to get the gears running, But Akhilesh, he's got this height, and I've seen him, really change up the speeds here when he bowls to his strength. He has the ability to bowl pretty quick. He just darts through, and at times when he kind of slows it down a little bit from there, really tempts the batsman. I think he has a great plan of setting up batsmen and over. So I'll be quite excited to see how he plays with Saideep.
Saeed's son has got all the shots in the book as well. He can be a little unorthodox now. The situation demands him to be so. Lots of real estate on the leg side can just bit away and pick up a single, much like that.
Yeah, Saideep, I think he looks to fall a little bit over when he bats, so they're looking to cramp him. I think Akhilesh intentionally just trying to hit that leg side of his and really just speed it up on him, force him to play a single and just rotate strike. But yeah, I think the off spinner against the lefty is really what they're looking to target. I think if they can try and get Mark out early, then it's positive signs for the Thunderbolts.
Oh, a lovely adjustment and straight down the ground. That ball was great to the fence in no time. He said 2 shots, 1 peppered over the rope, 1 kissing the carpet of grass. This is excellent batsmanship. He's targeting the right areas.
Brilliant shot, brilliant shot. I mean, no room for error here for Akhilesh. I mean, Mark is looking really solid out there right now, and they're just gonna have to come together and come up with some better bowling plans. So there we go. All right, we're seeing Rohan really get warm, and I'm excited to see Rohan, young gun.
He would be playing it straight against his former team. Oh, poor delivery. It was just asking for trouble. That'll fly away beyond the fence. He's not having a day to remember on the field here, Akhilesh. He's got to make a comeback. And they are showing why he was sent out to bat. He's got the flexibility to also get into such a good position that he wants to hit it exactly where he feels no fielder can get to it. But with the previous stroke as well, allowed himself to bend enough for the bat to come through so quickly. This time was easy pickings for him on the leg side. Swivels to send it for a 6.
Very quick hands. The way he picked up that last shot, that was just almost to the car park. But again, another single. No, I don't believe there are any dot balls this over. I think he's just really made the most of this over. You see, that's really the difference between the winning side and losing side in T20. It's the team that plays the least amount of dot balls. The ones that can really convert those good balls into singles and doubles, they make the difference here. And if you just watch Mark, he's done a great job of that. No wasted time here, no wasted balls. Just immediately looking to rotate strike and then get those bad balls out of here.
Once you're such a busy player, especially when a wicket has fallen and you turn out to be such a busy player, you're taking the pressure away from the surviving opener.
Now, one thing that I'm excited to see here is the pace of Rohan. We've seen a couple of bowlers just come with a bit of a short run up on the Astro, mainly because of the lack of grip and traction. But Rohan, again, even from that quarter run up, he's very quick. And I think he's just going to be able to cramp up Saideep and maybe even Mark on this Astro, just get that extra bit of bounce with his height. It's going to be very exciting to watch.
He's a skiddy customer. Rohan Bosanpalli loves the pace of He'll stay and idolizes him. Now, would it be a blessing in disguise, or would it be a bane to be playing against a team that he knows a little bit more about, but he's up against somebody that he doesn't know much about?
That's true. I mean, he has practiced with this side for quite a while, so he probably knows, their strengths or weaknesses, but at the same time, they might know a little bit about Rohan's. But again, he's been training with the Thunderbolts for a little while, and he's had the opportunity to kind of learn from Shadley and really just learn how to read batsmen a little bit, or, a little bit better. And so I'll be excited to see how he applies his new learnings. But this is going to be an exciting competition.
Yeah, any other team Rohan does well, Rusty will have a big smile on his face. Not this time. How well will he start off, Rohan Bosanapalli? Captain Harmeet needs him to give the momentum here. Mark Dayal has been a treat to watch so far. Such a compact trader. Oh, he's taken him on, and the ball's growing wings as it goes. Welcome to MILC, written all over it. Mark Dayal with a stamp of authority.
Mark has just picked that up from a length. I mean, that wasn't too short, and it wasn't too full either. It was just that hard length. But again, he's just picked it up from a great length. I think he was just planted there, just pulled it incredibly. Great shot there by Mark. We'll have to see how Rohan adjusts. I think the plan for Rohan should be to be slightly fuller. I think with his pace, Mark isn't really looking to clear over this, this cover region. He's just going to look to maybe play it for singles, get him off strike, and try and target side deep. That should be his plan right now. Again, that length. He's just given a little bit too straight and a little bit too short. Like I said, if he's just to bowl it a little bit fuller and a little bit more towards, fourth stump, get him to try and play that single, get him off strike, and target side deep. I think that will make the difference.
That has got something to do. You could see Harmeet, the calm figure, walking towards the youngster to try and tell him, you bowl him in that area, he'll swivel all day. The sixes are getting bigger and bigger, especially when they hit in that region.
That's one of those things that's invaluable for a bowler, having a guy like Harry to come up and talk to you when things aren't going great. Particularly last season, I remember there were a couple occasions I was getting hit by Marty Kane, and Harry came over to me, gave me a couple of words, and really tried and pull it back. And so I think for Rohan here, that's going to be crucial.
I think this game is going to be won by not by pace, but the illusion of it. When batter is swiveling, you want him to swivel a little earlier so that he can use the top edge. Mark Dayal, he's been such a treat to watch, and there's a long way to go, is what I feel. Oh, this is classic Mark Dayal. We'll explore new areas and get the same result. It's a terrific shot.
Very well said. It's the lack of pace or the illusion of pace that really makes a difference here. Rowan does have an arsenal of slower balls. I'd like to see him pull out the knuckleball, especially. That's one of his best wicket-taking deliveries. He's been working on it, all off season. And I think in this moment, if he really does get that knuckleball right, he can turn this over around, get the crucial wicket of Mark.
It's interesting that you brought that up, actually. I remember talking to him and he said, I watched every single video of Shardul Thakur to try and get my knuckleball right. That'll be the same result once again. The area doesn't change either. This is not replay, mind you. It's just a class, this batter, who bends, sways to send the ball in the regions that he wants it to go. At the moment, Mark Dayal has more control over this game more than the bowler.
Required runs really coming down. It's only about 90 at the moment. I mean, the Blazers have really picked up some momentum here. I think Mark Dale has just played an incredible inning so far and really given that momentum that I was talking about earlier. But again, for Rohan, I think crucially he needs to pull that.
Dispatches a throw as well at the right hand. Attracts an applause from every corner of the ground. Mark Dayal was screaming too. He believed he can get to the other end as well.
Great effort by Adam there. I mean, very quick in the field, very energetic. Love to see it. Again, he's one of those guys that really brings high energy to the team and make sure that everyone stays on their feet. Just great stuff there.
Adam will provide his services as a fielder now inside the circle. At point. Now he'll watch this one go though. The second run is definitely on. He's taken 2 for the shot, would you believe it? It's not 2. 1 for the shot and 1 for the throw. He's taken 2 for the shot. Just tells you that the ball's pinking off the bat so well.
Yeah, Arkulich is putting some pace on it, and that just flies away. I mean, Sai is looking pretty good in the middle too now. I think I think we're gonna start seeing some big shots from him as well. He's he's feeling very comfortable. He's playing some very nice shots there. Ooh, great shot down the ground for 1.
Yeah, 1 is a plenty. Minimum risk. The result is in the favor. Sai has also played extremely well. He was starved at the strike for a while, but had the best seat in the house to see some tremendous hits from Mark Dayal. Yeah, they're doing it in singles at the moment. Risk factor minimal. That's what a couple of overs to disrupt the opposition can do. This is such a sensible batting effort. Half century for the man.
That is a very quick 50. I mean, he's just come in and come in guns blazing. I mean, that was incredible. Great innings so far for Mark. But yeah, again, see that length. I mean, so far the bowlers have been just marginally short, and they've paid the price for that. But now we see Aki, just starting to hit that length correctly. We saw Harry hitting it last over, and that's really where you get those, you kind of build up pressure. They're just playing singles and singles. But, the question is now, with all the boundaries they've scored and, the run rate, required run rate only being 6.1, is there enough pressure from, just singles here? Good over, good over. Very economical in the context of what's been going on, and so good stuff from Aki to kind of pull it back there. So Harry coming on for his third. All right, there we go. We've brought Shadley back for a change. And this is where Shadley's really going to rely on that experience. Years of first-class experience, I think, will help him here. And, we've just got to wait and see. Where does he go from here? Shadley's actually got some incredible slower balls as well. And so I think this over, we're going to get a good display of those.
And it's got two different kinds of slow ball as well. It's one thing to have the ammunition, it's quite another to know when exactly to use it. The captain's decided that it's going to be Shadley to try and change things up here. Provide a wicket by the change of pace.
Now, one thing I'd mentioned earlier, for those of you guys watching, as Shadley runs in, when he jumps, just watch the direction of the way he jumps. It's very slight. You might not be able to notice it, but at times when he does change things up, he'll either jump in or out and really just change the angles that he bowls from. And I think in kind of setting up batsmen and just with his bowling plans, that's something that you might expect to see here in this over.
Oh, very good Yorker.
There's been a dearth of Yorkers.
He started the counter.
As you might or might not be able to hear, Shadley is a fan favorite. We've got some fans in the ground just yelling Shadley, or as they affectionately call him, Shadow Singh.
Seems to be a story behind that.
Yeah.
Waiting to be told.
We've got Andres and Shadley have both got ooh, there we go.
That's not from the best part of the bat. Fielder coming underneath it. Pouches it completely.
Great comeback here. As we said, Shadley, one of the experienced bowlers, really knows how to bowl in any given situation. And right there, perfect execution. Again, just changing things up, really cramping Saeed and just forcing that shot, that top edge. And here we see Shadley's brought us kind of back into the game. It'll be exciting to see where things go from here. But again, brilliantly well bowled.
Thank you.
Starting to put orders in that huddle. Slightly late on that full shot. But big lasers will breathe easy. Mark Taylor's got the game to stay there.
Yeah, USD Global. It's diamond. It's at the diamond level. Okay. And then
I can go with this one.
2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco.
Fun fact actually, Chennai Super Kings were sponsored by USD Global earlier on in the IPL, and they're actually the diamond sponsors of the Seattle Thunderbolts, responsible for some of these amazing jerseys you see on display here today. Hopefully we can replicate the success of Chennai Super Kings with USD on our backs.
Here is the question.
As you can hear them, they're yelling Shadow, Shadow. Shadow's got a great nickname, Shadow Singh.
Shadley. He's getting the support for sure. He's also getting the Yorkers right.
Wind on his back.
Every ball is becoming an event now. As soon as he's charging in, you could see the decibel levels drop, only to eventually rise
Once again, as the ball doesn't leave the 30-yard circle, it was played straight back to him this time around.
Big smile on his face, loving the support from the crowd. It's one of the things about playing home games here in Seattle, man. The fans are incredible. They're really what makes this team.
It's a terrific cricket ground, isn't it? It's a terrific ground. would be a single at max.
I believe someone's come off. Sahil has just come into the field for Rahul Singh, I believe, after taking that catch. I think he's hurt his finger a little. And so we've got Sahil, one of the young guns of the team. Great fielder.
It's terrific in one of the games I heard in the previous edition of Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship.
Yeah, I mean, Sahil's contributed very well. I think one game, him and Manu Jacobs, had really pulled a game in for us. First game we won last season, I think, at home. It was thanks to those two really just pulling it into the end. Sahil with a very clutch six, straight over the bowler's head, and just finishing off the innings in style. Those two.
Now Shadley to the left-hander.
He's decided to pull out of it.
Just playing mind games with the batsman here.
Do you think the batter pulled out first or the bowler did there?
I think it was Shadley. Shadley's playing mind games with him now. I think he's got him in his pocket. Shadley's too smart.
I'll tell you what, both of them are well within their rights to do so. No, not the best of his deliveries, but all that the batter needed to do was guide it off his hips and pick up a single. He's a little concerned about the furniture at the other end. It's the wind here, isn't it? It's the wind. In Klahani Park, Issaquah, Washington, Seattle. What a beautiful cricket ground this is. We term it a cricket ground because we make it one. It's marvelous to play cricket in for sure.
Yeah, beautiful day as well. I mean, Seattle, not known for spectacular days like these. It's typically very rainy and stormy, but today, just one of the best days for cricket.
The only storm that Seattle has seen today is off the bat of Mark Dayal.
Some of the kids here lining up on the boundary to talk to Shadley. Coach Shadley, great bowling, they say. There we go, Shadley giving a quick lesson to the bowlers on the boundary, telling them that was a back of the hand on the last ball there, trying to change things up.
Well, Anirudh, it looks like a coach is never off duty. Catch it as a call and it's taken.
Oh my goodness,
one of
there
the
we
best
go.
catches.
What a beautiful catch. Oh my goodness.
It's Rishi diving towards its right. That one was difficult. 10 on 10 for that effort. And the fact that he came down with it, and clung on to it and believed that he can make a catch out of it is what makes him a complete cricketer.
And that is the big wicket of Mark. That is a crucial point in the game. And Rishi coming back from a foot injury actually just 2-3 weeks back when we were up in Canada. Phenomenal for effort from him. I mean, that was spectacular to watch. For those of you who might not have seen it on camera, it was just a little bit off screen. Just a brilliant diving catch to his right. Just jumped out there, full reach of the arms, just managed to hold on to it. And yeah, parallel to the ground. I mean, great dive from him.
See the reaction of Mark there. His eyes went agog. He thought he got it in the gap as well. Little did he realize that Rishi Bharadwaj is lurking in that area. Good movement towards the right side. His natural side gets his hand in the right position. Didn't have enough time to bring the other arm around. Had to be a one-handed effort. Collects the ball mid-air. And while he lands it as well, ensures that his elbows are taken care of so that the ball doesn't pop out. This is one of the best catches, and we didn't have to wait long in 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco to get one of the best catches going. I think it'll be a contender. One of the best catches for sure.
Where do you think he learned to field like that?
You could be a better judge to
I have
answer
to say,
that. I don't think Delhi. I don't think Delhi, not because Delhi doesn't provide fantastic fielders. It definitely gets you fantastic fielders. But over here, of late, he says he's been working on his fitness here. He was looking very different while he was back in India.
I was going to say City University of Seattle, one of our title sponsors for today. But no, actually in Delhi, when you're diving on, the dirt and the rocks like that, it's very difficult to pull off dives like that. So having, cushiony grass like this, I think has made it very fun for him to dive and just throw his body around.
They've got some terrific ground in Delhi now. We invite you with open arms. Next time around, wide ball signal. And this is what Bangladesh needs to curtail on as well. Just a wicket fallen. Seattle Thunderbolts need to string a couple of dot balls together to sort of strangle the opposition. What the Bay Area? Whoa, good ball. Now what the East Bay Blazers, I beg your pardon,
looking to do is try and pick up singles so that the dot balls are cut off at least.
The Blazers do have the advantage at this point. At this point, still though, as long as they can maintain the momentum that they had going for them so far, they're still ahead in this game. It's really up to the Thunderbolts to try and bring things back with more dot balls and more wickets here. But again, you see the effort and the energy on the field really rising for the Thunderbolts.
Another dot ball. And the decibel levels are rising. More fans are being earned. It's always a great sign when a car stops to watch some more cricket. Now, at the moment, Akhilesh is getting some momentum.
Oh, there we go.
Appeal. Huge appeal. The finger that matter has stayed down.
Bit unlucky there to not get that decision.
The seesaw battle continues. It's a tight call indeed. Doesn't get it in the gap. Straight to the skipper Harmeet.
Another
That is
solid
going
over.
to be some roller coaster there, the first game for these two sides. Third MILC presented by Sunoco. This is what you sign up for when you watch games of this kind. When you want to watch this tournament, this is what you sign up for. Cricket of the highest caliber. Oh, what a battle this has turned out to be. A single will vent some pressure. Akhilesh has got some momentum going. Nicely poised this game now.
All right, and I guess Rahul Singh has made his way back into the field. Sahil coming off. Yeah, another brilliant over there from Akhilesh. They're really looking to turn things around here with this change in attack and just change in bowling plans. And it's looking great for the Thunderbolts. And now we've reached a point where I think pretty equally balanced. It's really about which team capitalizes from here. All right, they've brought in Funny, an expert with slower balls and change-ups, and I think at this point, if he is able to hit his target and really just work with his plans, we will see another wicket or two, I think, in this over.
Contrary to that, East Bay Blazers would be looking to try and milk the bowling and not let Funny get settled, because that will provide headache for Harmeet. Look for another over to eke out one more over from somebody else. As far as Funny is concerned, as you rightly put, he's someone who thrives on rhythm, like any other fast bowler. He's been working on a cutter of late. Loves it like that. That's good. Right
How
up.
is that? And he's given it a beautiful delivery. Just a slight change of pace, just a little bit slower than the batsman expected. He played it early and missed it completely. There we go, hitting the back pad straight on. Brilliant delivery. And again, like I said, great change up to force the wicket there. Amazing bowling by Funny.
It was worth the wait. It was worth the wait for every single fan in pink. Funny gets it right. The batter misses a pretty straight ball in the end. That would have crashed into the stumps, says the umpire. And a big wicket in the context of the game. Harmeet and co would now believe that they can get the first 2 points in this game, as they're clawing back into this after Mark Dayal's wicket, and now this jolt to East Bay Blazers.
Brilliant show by Funny there. I mean, seriously, straight up to start with that kind of a delivery. You can't really ask for anything else. And that's why the Thunderbolts have, put so much faith in him. Last year, again, he was their go-to in the death overs, especially when things weren't, going their way. They could always rely on Funny for an over here, one or two somewhere in the middle overs or in the death to really just try and pull things in control. And, again, he's executed phenomenally. Great job by Funny there. I don't know. I think 47. Do we have like a list?
You come here. Check. One second.
No, it's not refreshing. Is it refreshing here? No. A dream start for Funny. And he's providing some pace. Oh, this time concentrated more on swing. A ball you realize is too good, not just for the batter, but the keeper too.
Yeah, just cutting it away from him slightly. A little bit more pace on that ball. Well bowled. Good thought process here by Funny. I think he's put the batsman under pressure, and now the batsman's got to think, is he looking to rotate strike? Is he looking to try and play this one big? And now he's got him in two minds, especially when Funny can just, bowl all these change-ups at will. I think it's a great contest here.
Oh, watches it go. It's also the angle. It's got a slightly slinky angle. You ask him whose Yorker do you like the most without blinking. He says it's Malinga. And that slinky action is also a suggestion that he loves Malinga, doesn't he?
He's got this amazing ability to really just target those wide Yorkers. And again, the batsman, I think, in his mind, he's thinking that's a wide because of that round arm angle. But because he's kept it just so tight and so close to that line, he's done a phenomenal job of throwing the batsman off right there.
Is he also beating the batter with the trajectory here? I know it's a term that he usually associates with spinners and not pacers, but a couple of times you just get a feeling that the batter is going to play the shot and then backing out.
It's that height of release, exactly. As you said, he's really just getting into his mind with that. And now we've seen the keeper stand up to him. Ooh,
wow, what a collect. I think he's got him there.
Oh my God, will that be given?
The finger stays down.
Oh,
It was a fantastic collect.
brilliant work by Andres behind the stumps there. Very quick stuff. And, to be honest, I think Andres standing up is a great help for Funny, especially because then the batsmen aren't really able to step up and try and take him on, and so it really gives him the ability to just bowl to his strengths and really just try these change-ups without fear of them stepping down and trying to take him on.
There's no other option for the batter than to negotiate the little swing that's on offer from Funny. When the keeper is standing up like that, I think Andre did a tremendous job indeed to collect it and whip the bails off before anybody could say Jack Robinson, or the finger that matters stayed down, because the umpire says the batter was well within the crease, just in the nick of time. Funny keeping things very exciting here.
Well, whether the finger went up or not, he's under pressure now. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Just the additional benefit of everyone kind of appealing and putting this pressure on the batsman, it's really playing in his mind. You see here, he was nowhere near the ball, just really looking to play a rash shot, just swinging at it blindly, and that's the effect that Funny has. He's really put pressure on the batsman here with these change-ups. He's not sure where to play, and I think it'd be in his best interest to really just look to try and tap it for a single and get off strike.
This is a dream start to Funny. He's pulled things back for his side, Seattle Thunderbolts. 1-1 on the board.
Again, a couple of really solid overs strung together here have made a big difference. We've seen a lot of pressure build up from the batsmen, a couple of quick wickets fall, and just the energy on the field. You can really see it in the fielders. They're really starting to get energized and pumped here.
A quick reminder to all the viewers and fans of 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco. You can follow all the matches live across the 2022 MILC season. Follow Minor League Cricket's social media channels or visit www.minorleaguecricket.com for more info. Yeah, you can find us on the socials there: YouTube MLC Network, Twitter at MILC Cricket, MIL Cricket, Facebook MILC USA, and Instagram it's at MILC USA.
Again, the task at hand for Ucky here is really to continue this momentum for the Thunderbolts. Just some solid bowling from the bowlers all around here, and I think if they keep the pressure up and really start choking them for runs here, we'll start to see more wickets fall.
Now here's Akhilesh from the Combox end. He's also slowing it up a little. You could see his relaxed approach. He wants to own every moment now that he's found some momentum. Oh, what a battle this has turned out to be. You could sense that the batter is also checking which way the wind is blowing. Is there a big shot coming in? If that's the case, then it's Avdesh Rai sitting deep in the mid-wicket region, deep mid-wicket region, who's got to be activated.
Catch. Oh. Well, as you mentioned, Akhilesh just kind of slowing things down, slowing the tempo of the game. When things aren't going your way, you try and rush through it, just trying to get your overs done with and just move through it. And when you're on top, really, that's when you try and capitalize, really try and slow things down. Make sure that the batsman really feel the pressure here. As you saw, he just popped one up there. Unfortunately, just away from the fielder. Ooh, good shot there.
Wonderful shot indeed. Adam tried his best with that dive. Oh, that's a great effort in the deep. But was it enough? Jagrup Raina always giving his 100%. Gets an applause from Akhilesh as well. He needs the support of the fielders. On that occasion, that was looking like a certain boundary until Jagrup Raina thought otherwise. Straight back to the bowler. That throwing action was a necessity, just the heat of the moment.
Great aggression by Akhilesh again, just staring him down there, letting him know that he's in control right now. He's the one who puts the ball into play, and he's the one that's going to take this wicket, I believe.
There's still an option of a single on the leg side for sure, but a single will not suffice. Hence he goes for the big shot. Fielder in the deep, just over. That'll be 6. Pressure released. Akhilesh gets it wrong.
Commentator's curse, as they say. I called it a wicket, and he's just been sent for 6. Typically, being on the other end of the commentator's curse, you never notice it, but here I think it's a bit more obvious.
I'll tell you what, on behalf of all the commentators of my ilk, we can't take a catch, or we can't effect a run out sitting up here.
It's alright, I can't take a catch either.
But are you superstitious otherwise?
I do have, like lucky game day socks and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it really just comes down to your ability to perform on the day. But when things don't go your way, you tend to blame it on superstitious factors like commentator's curse.
Or the socks, yeah, right.
I don't know if you've watched this movie, Chain Kuli Ki Main Kuli.
I absolutely have.
I watched that movie as a kid growing up, and I used to think, when am I going to get my lucky 1983 World Cup bat? Start scoring runs.
Yeah, Chain Kuli Ki Main Kuli. That was quite a Bollywood movie.
I think the Blazers are hoping that someone here has one of those magical bats as well with them. For those of you who might not know, it's a story about an orphan who finds Kapil Dev's World Cup winning bat.
But doesn't know that it's his. Yeah, until the last moment.
Exactly, until Kapil Dev comes to the movie. But yeah, it gives him magical batting abilities, and he's just scoring runs like crazy. And right now, I think the Blazers are just hoping that they have access to one of those kind of bats.
Unbelievable. We are discussing Chain Kuli Ki Main Kuli on commentary in 2022 Toyota Minor League Cricket Championship presented by Sunoco.
Just goes to show the lasting impact of that movie.
Yeah, it's also because you watched it at an impressionable age, didn't you?
Yeah, it's one of those forming experiences. You watch it and you think, yeah, I'm gonna be one of those batsmen. All right, it'll be exciting to see the challenge for Harry now. He's gotten his rhythm, bowling well in his last couple of overs. Can he maintain, and can he take some wickets now?
It's a better suited situation for Harmeet as well. Knows his team has picked up a wicket, just a 6 as well was hit. And that was hit with some authority. It was a pressure release shot. Now with Harmeet, when he knows that the batters are coming after him. Oh, overcompensated there, the fielder. Akhilesh ran towards his left too much and then realized the little bit of torque on the ball. Turned away from the tall, lanky bowler.
Yeah, typically on Kalhani, when you cut it that hard, because the grass is so thick, it's not actually going to cut past you like that. It's just going to come straight and just stop in the grass. But today, they've got the grass really low, and so that actually cut and just happened to get past Akhilesh.
This could be taken Shadley underneath it. And the safest pair of hands that Seattle Thunderbolts can find. Completes the catch, sends the batter packing.
I made sure not to say anything, just just to not jinx it after the last
I tell you
one.
what, you're in neutral, you're in the com box.
Oh, that's true. That is true. But again, safe pair of hands, well judged, got under the ball and, judged it perfectly. But again, right idea from the batsman. I think just the execution was a little bit off. I think playing against the wind made it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I think the shot selection was right. Just didn't manage to clear.
Changing voices to take you through the end, till the end. I'm Suhas Vedam, joined by Sheel. Oh, this
Thanks.
game is beautifully poised, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, when I left the previous round of my commentary, things were in a completely different space. And it's in a different space right now. Almost 123 for 6 now for the Bay Blazers. As the new batsman in is Vikas Mohan. Just to give a shout out to the 22 season sponsors for Seattle Thunderbolts. The diamond sponsor UST, platinum sponsor City University of Seattle, gold sponsors Apna Bazaar, Zuper, B Talent, and Dream Vision. B Talent is going to sponsor the man of the match for this game today. As Harmeet's next ball gets pushed to the cover for a quick single by Angelo Pereira. It's a very nicely poised game, about 54 runs to get in this remaining 7 odd overs, or 6 overs in some 6.4 overs, 6.3 to be precise.
There's Nawaz yet to come. There's Arnav here. He can swing the bat. David Bunn can do so. Rusty Theron's already done that at the international level as well. There is a bit of batting to come, but when they're inheriting an equation of this kind, they want one of these two batters to get going right away.
There's a lot of confidence in the Seattle Thunderbolt bowlers right now. Like this particular ball, there's a classic off-spinner's ball, and really in the 14th over to see that Harmeet is turning the ball and foxing the batsman. It's been unreal the way this game is panned out, really.
Yeah, you tell me it's not colored clothing, we'd believe you. That kind of a delivery, isn't it? Just the connoisseur of the longest part of the game as well. Now Harmeet, just enough turn to tease the outside edge. He's gone inside out and he's connected beautifully. That'll travel the distance for 6.
Angelo Pereira, no half measures that one, picked up on the up and deposited over the cover boundary for 6.
113.
The total is about 130 now. At the end of 14th over, that leaves 49 more runs to get in 6 overs. Asking rate not too much ahead of, it's still less than the innings asking rate of 8.9. Right now it's needed about close to about 8. The question is how many wickets? They've got 4 more wickets to go. For Samadri to come back into the attack. And as Anirudh was mentioned, Funny is an important cog in this Thunderbolt wheel. He started rather erratically, Suhas, but he's kind of found his rhythm right now.
That's what cricket teaches you, isn't it? Oh, good delivery once again. He's always keeping the batter as a candidate for LBW with that slinky action, little more skid.
And the off break.
Oh, yeah.
Off cutters, rather.
He's been working on it, sir.
And it's that Mustafizur Rahman kind of a ball that he has kind of mastered over the last year or so. He used it phenomenally well last year. As the innings progresses, he uses it more and more. There's a slightly more room out there, and the batsman was easily able to steer it down to the third man. Couple of runs there, but a good all-round fielding on the boundary line there.
Oh, it's gone straight up in the air. Jagrup Rana underneath it. The ball is swerving in the air, but will pouch it. It's not an easy catch, but he's made it look easy with sense of calmness that he brings to the cricket match.
Magnificent, just magnificent the way they have been catching their catches over the last 6 odd overs. And that's made a remarkable difference to the state of this game. By no means Bay Blazers are out of this game, but Thunderbolt with every single catch are making a tremendous inroad into the game. And I must say that they're in the driver's seat right now. It's their match to lose from here on.
Momentum with the men in pink. Belief equally with the men in yellow and black. These Bay Blazers, they would believe it's a matter of one partnership, and if one of these two can get going, then it's game over. Angelo Pereira comes with a truckload of experience from back in Sri Lanka. He's played cricket almost all around the world, Angelo Pereira. And to lose him in that fashion, it's a big blow indeed. Bikash is out there.
David Bunn.
And David Bunn. David Bunn's got his task cut out. He's got to use the long handle from the word go.
And that's the key. They have to use the long handle, but they have less wickets now in hand. Things are getting a little tricky for them. So this is where they have got to mix the aggression with caution. They have a job to finish. But Thunderbolts right now, they have their tails up. Their fielders are charging in. You could see there's a spring in their steps. The motley group of crowd that is in the ground, they are backing themselves. There's a whole lot of chatter going on. There's a buzz in the atmosphere. Oh, cricket on a weekend afternoon, beginning of MILC season, Pacific Conference. It can't get better than this.
A single suddenly is looking like a denomination that won't pinch Harmeet and Co much. That's how quickly this game changes, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
A matter of a couple of wickets and you look at singles, it's all right. Funny has been bowling the difficult overs, and from the word go, he's been tremendous. Right on the money, picking up wickets, keeping the pressure on. And while he does so, allows other bowlers as well to be amongst wickets, because now the batter has to target somebody else, because Funny has been excellent.
Absolutely. And add to that, the thing that stood out today has been the way Thunderbolt has, the team has come onto the park. It looks like a team. Everyone's giving inputs to everyone. There is clarity of thought from the bowlers. There are the think tank, the absolute leadership think tank between Andreas Gauss, Adam Crosswaith, and Harmeet Singh. Oh, that was a miss from Andreas Gauss. He's standing up to finding space, missed it completely, and 4 excruciatingly painful runs for Thunderbolt, but an absolute gold dust for the Bay Blazers.
Once again, a delivery that was too good for the batter and the keeper behind it. Behind the wicket, wow. Andreas Gauss usually gets his hand into a lovely position, also effected something almost did. It was a very good shout indeed. But this time the ball skids past him. It's the extra pace as well that Funny brings to the table.
Got married recently. Yeah, put on like pounds. He got back from his honeymoon 2 weeks ago. He's just trying to get back in shape. He told me to put on a bunch of weight.
So 15 overs gone, 139 for 6. Beg your pardon, we committed a mistake telling you about more wickets have been fallen in the past. It's actually 6 wickets down, 139. 40 more runs to get from 5 overs.
40 and 5 is still very possible. It just looks like Dunn needs to have a day to remember. Give it Bunn. At the moment, these are the non-strikers end though. Inside out in a beautiful region as well, an extra cover. Jagrup cannot get to it. If Jagrup cannot get to it, nobody can. Much needed boundary for the Blazers. Just the right way to stop the over as far as the Blazers are concerned.
36 more to go as far as runs are concerned for a Blazers. Avdesh, new bowler, this over.
This time slowed it down deliberately. And realizes once he does not provide pace, even if it has the width, doesn't go to the fence because the outfield is a little slow.
Wonderfully tight game, this one. Going down to the wire, all stretch of imaginations. 36 runs sometimes can seem from last 5 overs like a cakewalk, but in this kind of scenario, it is like a tightrope at this point of time. Could
Oh, it's a
go-
matter of a wicket, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's a matter of momentum.
Or a couple of boundaries,
Okay.
and that tilts the scale completely.
Avdesh Rai is taking his time here. Captain's decided to post himself at deep mid-wicket. Excellent stop. Adam very quick with the dispatch too.
Adam Crossworth, you can't keep him out of the game. Right from his batting innings to his fielding, he's been an absolute fortress in the close-in field for Thunderbolt today. A sheer inspiration for everybody.
Now it's Adam who's been kept busy once again at the deep mid-wicket region. Now this Rise is quite content taking the sweet time that he wants to get back to the run-up and then deliver.
That's one thing about Thunderbolts that has impressed me today. They've taken their time. They've not hurried into things. And sometimes that can also cause, once again, 4 runs in buys. And those are the things one would go back at the end of the game. It's a leg bye. It's something on the batsman's paraphernalia. But again, extras that the team would rue, the bowling team would rue, easy runs given to the opposition.
At this time, Andres wasn't exactly near the stumps either. A little deflection from the batter's bat was enough to send the ball for 4 and beyond Andres' reach.
151 for 6 after 16 overs. The run rate of 9.44 and 28 runs to get in 4. That's a run rate of asking rate of 7, which in T20 terms is rather pedestrian. But is there another script to unfold out here?
Never know. With 6 wickets being fallen, that means 4 wickets in hand. And with the batters to come, nobody wants to be termed as a tail-ender either. Because they're terrific with a bat in hand indeed. They can swing the bat for sure. And this game's beautifully poised. East Bay Blazers would believe it's a matter of 1 over. Perhaps not this one if they can target any other. Get the game going. Reduce the equation. Once again, David Bunn, who's known for the big hits, is still out there and is definitely a glimmer of hope.
for East Bay Blazers. As far as Harmeet and Goa are concerned, Seattle Thunderbolts stringing those short deliveries. Put pressure on David Bunn. That would be the buzzword there. Pressure.
Harmeet Singh bringing him himself for the 17th over. The question is, who are going to be their next three bowlers? There's Shadley with one more remaining, Funny remaining with one, Avdesh has two to go. Will they throw in Rohan Pasanapalli? He had a rather forgettable one over that he has bowled. 28 runs were taken, but then would they just give him for the death to revive him? Not just for this game, for the tournament.
That's an excellent point that you mentioned. The man who took him to the cleaners is now back in the pavilion. Rohan Pasanapalli can definitely get more confidence under his belt if he gets another over.
That said, Harmeet bringing himself. It was always a question whether he holds himself back for a couple of overs, but he's the keys. With 3 overs, 25 runs, he's picked up 2 wickets. He's done his captain's hand, not just with the ball, but with the bat as well. Fani Sabadri, 3 overs, 15 runs and 2 wickets. Three overs, 15 runs and 2 wickets.
It's priceless in a high-scoring game like this, isn't it?
Absolutely. Totally, absolutely. That's the importance of Fani Samadri. I saw him play last season, and I realized he comes in bowls at the tough moments. You mentioned that. He came at the tough moments in the game, and he made it count. He picked up crucial wickets, wickets of Angelo Pereira and Gurbaksh Singh Khaira, who could have been a handful. He's had a great MILC Season 1, Khaira. So to have him cheaply in this game was a massive point scored.
Absolutely. And don't go by the 15 runs that he's conceded. What it does not show you is the fact that Shadley had it wrong. Andreas had it wrong a couple of times.
Yep,
It's the extra pace, which is a boon sometimes and a bane sometimes.
absolutely.
A terrific effort from the captain. He's kicking himself. Didn't want to give away that single. Wants to bowl at the same batter more often. That's how we generate opportunities. Now more pressure here on David Bunn because it's been a quiet over so far. Ball needs to have an appointment with the boundary rope.
Harmeet would have fallen rather awkwardly, taking a bit of a heat at a certain physical space that you would not like it to hurt you. But all's good. That's been played down towards the third man. 2 runs taken. A sedate over, but still the runs tickling in, and nothing, no harm to the wickets column for that over. Still a ball to go, I guess.
Does get it in the gap, but will only be a single. David Bunn wanted the second run, but you got a stare at the other end from his partner because suggesting, David, you are tall, it's 4 strides, but you're not for me.
A good over from Harmeet, but 7 runs taken by the batters. Exactly, they're keeping themselves to the asking rate. 21 to get in 3 overs. 21 of 18 balls remaining. Shadley to come in. Now that's an important decision out here. They have 1 over from Shadley. Should they take it now? Should they keep him for the later overs? It's always good to go with your best bowler at a time when you can make an impact and get the game on your corner. I guess they're going for that. It would be interesting to see who comes in for the next 2 overs, but this is going to be a critical over, Suhas.
Shadley bowls this, and depending on how this goes, perhaps Funny the next. Avdesh has got 2 more overs up his sleeve, so that means Avdesh is not bowling out if Shadley bowls this. And Shadley it is to roll his arm over. 3 overs, 9 runs and a wicket. An unbelievable economy rate of just 3 runs. absolutely priceless. Here's Shadley. And it's happened a couple of times. He's missed his mark. But not once the ball is released. It's only in the run-up. And we've also talked about the fact that it can turn into a mind game. Anirudh was mentioning Shadley does that often. The slower delivery.
Both these batsmen haven't been able to get away with fast-paced scoring, and that brings down to those two boundaries behind the wicket. Those were extras, 8 runs. How critical were those two? The batters are not doing much. They are not picking up the pace. They are not intentionally going for the aggressive shots. But it's those mistakes that can come back and bite you at the end of the day.
Yeah, the margin will also diminish as this tournament progresses, isn't it?
Yep.
That's the quality of cricket that we have on offer.
That's been played up in the air, and that's dismissed over the square leg for 6. Out of the blue, both the batsmen were going for singles, and all of a sudden, a ball that was on his in his arc, Bikash Mohan swivels his body, times it beautifully, and the ball was all the way for 6. It was all the way as an effortless 6, absolutely.
He's getting a move on as well because spent some time in the middle, was a little slow to start off with, but come the big moment, he's getting it from the middle of the bat. And that single would suffice. Equation under control, that's what one big shot can do.
Absolutely, 165, 14 more to get. That 6 has kind of flattened the whole thing out.
Headaches for Harmeet here. Who bowls the next? Think it's going to be funny because you've got to elongate the game as much as possible. It's got to take it deep.
Smart cricket from the Bay Blazers. They aren't going for big shots unless they are doubly sure of their shots going for long. They're not taking any risks. They're playing a run a ball kind of an innings. David Bunn doing it nicely, 8 of 8. Bikash Mohan, couple of boundaries, a 4 and a 6, 17 of 12. They're keeping it within the arc, and they're not taking any risk whatsoever. And that's the way to do it. That shows it's all well planned. They're controlled. Their nerves are well in control. Their pulse is well in control.
Good slower delivery, well disguised. The batter was in two minds whether to play it, whether not to, and by the time the decision came through, the ball had already gone past. At the back of the hand slower delivery as well, it's been something that's been working on. It's a very important asset to have in this format of the game.
Absolutely. I think last few years we've seen T20 is all about variations. And it's a slower ball that's in any form, whether it's a spin or pace, that's done the more damage than the actual faster ball.
Yeah, that'll be another easy single. What this format has taught is the spinners are trying to work quicker, the pacers are trying to bowl slower.
Deception is the name of the game. Another over done, 18 overs gone. It is 168 for 6. Two overs, 11 runs. It's below run a ball now. Shadley and Harmeet discussing exactly the same question. Who gets next over? Funny Simadri, it seems. It appears it is going to be Funny Simadri. Wickets are the only way that Thunderbolt can make an inroad back into this game.
And one of those ways to achieve a wicket is through dot balls. This looks like the Bay Blazers game to lose. Well under control. 11 required of the last two in T20 format with 4 wickets in hand. It's bread and butter.
And just one close-in fielder. Practically, they've got 2 behind the square, 1 front of square. Everyone on the boundary line. Getting dot balls is slightly difficult with that sort of field. This time, played into the air. And once again, hauled over deep square leg for 6. Bikash Mohan. No half measures there. And runs to get is below 10 now. 174. 5 more to win. Formalities remain in this game unless something dramatic happens from here. This is East Bay Blazers. They've done it nicely so far. In spite of some of the hiccups on the way, they've picked up the runs. They played some cerebral innings, didn't lose their patience. Tapped to the short third man area. Lovely fielding out there. Single. And the score moves at 173 for 6.
I think 5 required. In how many balls?
6 required. And 10 balls.
Okay, I think that's fairly simple for the Blazers.
That's a fantastic ball. Full on York length. Got the batsman completely foxed into a awkward space. David Bunn. He didn't have any space to maneuver that ball, but I guess it's a little too late into the game right now to have a ball that tricky. David's actually played a handy hand out here. 10 runs off 11 balls. He didn't try anything out of the ordinary. Ensured that Vikas has all the confidence from the other side to play shots. And this has been a crucial partnership. They've scored 40 runs between them. That's been a critical partnership in the scheme of things as the game went by. 5 more to get. Once again, wonderfully placed between the two closing fielders in the square of the wicket on the offside. 4 runs, the third man boundary.
What was the target?
178 for 6, and that's at par with the score of Seattle Thunderbolt. 1 more to win.
179 was the target.
That was a wonderful shot. A beautiful little innings out here by Vikas Mohan. He's 28 runs off 18 balls, and he's played some good cricketing shots, not losing his patience, holding his shape for the big shots. And when he was not going for the big shots, he kept looking for the singles. This has been a rather defining partnership for the 8th wicket.
All right, what do you think of that? They've brought in all the fielders looking to maybe try and stop the single, but they've kind of just opened the rest of the field.
Oh, that's it. Vikas goes for a big shot, and with an absolutely emphatic 6 over square leg, he sealed this game. A fantastic chase for the East Bay Blazers at the end. Although there were some tentative moments in the way, they have done this with rather ease, with an over to spare. So they will take a lot of confidence chasing down 178 rather easily. And Seattle Thunderbolts will take away some questions that they will have to go and think about, especially with some of the initial overs that they bowled at the Bay Blazers.
Phenomenal way to finish off the game. I mean, everyone kind of dreams of that way, just finishing it off with a big 6 like that. So props to him. But I think today's game, was really changed by Mark. Started off great with his bowling, and then came in and played a really crucial innings to just turn things around for the Blazers. And from there, I think, as you said, easy coasting. At points there were times when it seemed like the balance might be tipping, but again, I think that, the Blazers did a really good job of maintaining the momentum and really just playing to their strengths. And they looked pretty systematic out there. I think there was not too much doubt that they'd win from that point.
Very rightly said. I think they came in looking like a team who's done this kind of chases. When they started batting, it seemed like they knew how to go about this chase, and their openers took time to construct the innings. And then once they lost the wicket, they got Mark at the crease, and he just went ballistic with the chase. And once he was done, he had more or less brought themselves into the control. At no point after that did it seem like they were gasping for breath. Their asking rate was in single digits. It never went beyond the innings rate of 8.9. And towards the end, I'm just impressed with the way Vikash Mohan and David Bunn played. The sixth wicket fell at 134, and they've practically got themselves 45 runs from there, maybe a little more, but that's 49 runs for that wicket, seventh wicket. That's kind of that was a very matured way of finishing the innings, especially David Bunn, the way he held up one end, and Vikash Mohan's controlled aggression. They will take a lot of confidence with this, but nothing to worry about Thunderbolts. The way they started last season, they've really started very well. Their batting looks solid. They've got a few questions to answer in the bowling composition, but a lot of confidence they would be taking out of this game. Anirudh.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, great win for the Blazers, and as you mentioned, I think there are some things that need to be looked at and recalibrated for the Thunderbolts, especially going into tomorrow's game. But I was doubting the Blazers' decision to bowl first. Especially an Astro wicket in T20. I think chasing is maybe the more difficult task, especially because last season they were such a dominating bowling side. I thought they would have maybe play to the strengths. And I think they were just trying to replicate last season. The game against the Thunderbolts, when they did bowl first, they were able to get them out for a very low total, and then easy wins from there. But this season, the Thunderbolts batting has really impressed me. I mean, great consistency, and I think individual contributions last season kind of outweighed the overall team's performance. You saw standalone performances, a lot from Andres and stuff like that. But today, I think everyone really played incredibly. Great cameos from everyone. Just contributions of about 30 odd by all the big names in the team, and it really just kind of spread that responsibility. So the batting looked very solid today. I had no doubts about the batting. But again, as you said, some questions for the bowling. I think kind of being able to come back from those tough scenarios. When things aren't going according to plan. How do you adapt? How do you change your plan from that? You can't keep trying to bowl the same ball if that's the same ball that keeps getting hit, right? And I think we saw that a little bit today. And so that'll be a learning point for some of these bowlers. And I think tomorrow they're going to come back with a fresh plan. And I think tomorrow's game should be very exciting as well if we see similar performances.
Absolutely, and the time of the day, it was going to be a morning game. To your question of them choosing to field first, even I thought that was an interesting call, I would say, but it at the end, I guess the way they chased it down, clearly it's evident that they think that chasing is their strength. They chased it like quite logically. There was a lot of composure when I look at that chase. At no point did I find that the team was looking a little out of place. They always seemed very much in control. Everyone looked a bit calm. There was a flurry of wickets in between. Suddenly Thunderbolt found that inspiration. But then towards the end, we found they still had batters who could hold their nerves and see them through this particular chase. So I think there's a lot of confidence in backing that decision. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow too, Anirudh, because that's going to be a morning game. Toss is going to be crucial, but the wicket and most importantly the conditions, the ground, etc. might play differently. The ball might move a little more. So we may have a little more, like you said while commentating initially, after the first 2 overs the ball was just flat. It was just out there if it was the length was there to hit, the batsman would back themselves to hit. But we might see a little more movement, especially with the likes of Funny, the likes of the Asian, and even young Rohan, he might find a different purchase if he gets to play tomorrow.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, I think the Blazers were very systematic in their chase. I mean, at no point were they, just only looking for big shots. They made sure that they kept the scoreboard ticking with just, great singles and doubles, making sure they rotated strike, so that at no point pressure kind of built up. Because even at moments when they did lose wickets, they didn't look to be under too much pressure. I think. It was never a doubt in their mind that they would continue to score those runs, as long as they had kept the scoreboard ticking. And then the bad ball did come. They capitalized, and I think that's what made the difference today. So great victory for them. But yeah, tomorrow morning, there's a bit of dew factor on the ground, and the sprinklers at Kalahani, It's not like a grass wicket where there's a little bit of dew on the wicket or anything, but the sprinklers next to the pitch do tend to get the carpet a little wet, and as we've seen in the past, actually it kind of stops the bowlers from bowling full pace. They last season when we did have morning games, everyone was off a very short run up, very skiddy. The ball will tend to get very heavy as well, and so that's definitely going to be a factor in the toss tomorrow. So we'll have to see exactly how that kind of plays into the team strategy as well tomorrow.
So that's it from us, and we'll probably be moving on to the presentation in a while for the man of the match. We all know the way Mark Dale played today, both in terms of bowler, 4 overs, 35 runs a wicket, and scoring 55 of 19 balls, 6 fours and 4 sixes. He has his name written all over that man of the match prize. So that's it from the commentary box here for the moment, from me, Sheel, and Anirudh. And we'll have our colleague Suhas catch up with you in a while with the man of the match presentation. Thanks for joining us for this wonderful game. Once again, the result is East Bay Blazers defeating Seattle Thunderbolts in the first game of the Pacific Conference Western Division home game of Seattle Thunderbolts. 178 for 6, Seattle scoring, batting first, and East Bay Blazers scoring 179 in reply in 18.5 overs. So do join us tomorrow morning. Again, these two teams, they meet each other for their back-to-back weekend games. And as Anirudh mentioned, it's a morning game tomorrow, and we should have a different set of conditions. And let's hope another amazing game coming up tomorrow morning. Thank you so much.
Yeah, stop the stream.